Hey everyone, welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 340, recorded on June 2nd, 2026. My name's Steve, and of course, I'm joined by Barry. Hey Barry, how's it going?
Hey everyone. Boy, it's been busy.
Just a bit. Just a bit. We're going to get into a lot of gaming showcases tonight in this episode and some other news as well, like some breaking news that just broke just recently from Nintendo. But yeah, if this is the first time you've joined us for the podcast, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to hit the like button if you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and follow us. Follow us on social media, all our Discord and everything. All those links are going to be in the show notes and the YouTube description as well. And if you're joining us live, be sure to hop in the chat room. We would love to interact with you guys all throughout this episode. You may also, for those of you guys who've been around for a while, you may notice that we're missing a member. Yeah, Greg couldn't be here tonight, but the news must go on. The podcast must go on, and so we've got tons to talk about in this episode. Like I said, including I should have counted these. I think there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about like 12 different showcases that have happened in this last couple weeks. And there are more on the way. So we've got lots to talk about on this episode. But before we do any of the showcases and any of the news, it's time to talk about what we have been playing. So, Barry, what have you been playing?
Yeah, not as many games as previous weeks because we had a string of game chats. So I had to play a bunch of games, and they have mostly been posted. So just, little plug. Check out our game chats if you haven't. We do spend a lot of time on them and a lot of effort to give you honest thoughts on some of these great games, or not so great games. And check those out. It really supports us, and maybe you'll find something you'll be interested in playing. Speaking of playing, on the Switch, I've still been playing Pokemon Unite, Asphalt Legends, and Pokemon Champions. They're my daily drives. I also played Tetris 99 this weekend because there was an event. There was a Maximus Cup for Yoshi, and it was a very busy event weekend. It was a really, really busy event weekend. Pokemon Champions also had an event. And then on the Switch 2, continuing with the events, Sonic Racing Crossworlds had an event at a festival for Puyo Puyo, and Kirby Air Riders had an event, so I did those as well. And then I played some Mina the Hollower, and I finished it. We have a game chat; it's posted. But when the game chat was posted, I didn't finish it. I actually was really close. I was stuck. I couldn't figure out what to do, and I went on Twitter, and someone told me what to do, and I was like, "That's a really dumb solution." And they're like, "Yeah, it is." But I did it, and then I was able to finally finish the game. So for my full thoughts, check that out. But I did enjoy getting to finish through the game and beat it. Speaking of beating, I played Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, which came out post our last podcast, and I beat that as well. I beat at least the first 10 chapters. There's an 11 and 12, which are bonus content, and I did not 100%. I plan to slowly go back and work on it casually, but there's so many other things coming on. I figure that's a good casual. Hey, I've got 20 minutes. Let me just go and mess around with that. Uh, Pokemon Pokopia, I'm in like the almost a daily drive mode now too. I'm just kind of going to my island looking for stuff, helping out my wife a bit, but the majority of what I wanted to accomplish is done. But the big game I've been playing is a game that I wanted to play back in December when it came out, but it kind of launched the exact same day as both Sonic Racing Crossworlds, the Switch 2 edition, and a little game called Metroid Prime 4. So I didn't get a chance to do it until now, and I finally had a little bit of a break in May. It's June now, but I started it in May. So it took me half a year to finally get to the game that I pre-ordered and I purchased, which is Octopath Traveler 0 from Square. And I think I'm like 30 something hours in at this point, and I will say I really am enjoying this. I was not sure because I know this was a mobile game and then brought over to consoles, but really enjoying it. Just a lot of fun. Very dark. Like this is probably like more adult than I even remember the first two Octopath being. Like there's a scene where like you're in the slums, and there's two soldiers that go to like a woman there, and they're pretty much like, just stay still, we're gonna have our way with you. And I'm just like, whoa, like this is getting really dark.
Wow.
That doesn't happen. It is stopped. But like, just to see that kind of stuff in this world, it is very political and very, very nasty. And I'm starting to run into the characters from the first game, which was really exciting because I haven't seen those characters in like 7 years or whatever. But yeah, it's just a fantastic game. I've heard nothing but great things, and from my time thus far, I can attest to it. It's very open ended. It lets you play at your pace. It's very casual in the sense of like less urgent. It
Hmm.
lets you grind if you want to grind, and it tells you like this quest is level 15. Be around 15 to do it. I don't remember, the first two games might have done that, but I've slept since then. But yeah, this is
Yeah.
right up there with the other two, so I'm having a blast.
Cool.
Speaking of RPGs, on the PC, still doing Final Fantasy 14. And mobile side, Mario Kart Tour, LinkedIn Games, the New York Times Games, Pokemon TCG Pocket, which also just dropped a new set, Dragon
Hmm.
Quest Smash and Grow, which I have been playing extensively. That is a fun game, but it's starting to take money from me. And Nintendo's little Pictonio or Pictonico, whatever. I don't know if you played this,
I
but
downloaded it. That's about it.
I downloaded it and I played it, and I was excited because it's like free to start. Let me test it out. And this is their free to start. You get to take a picture, or it'll pick a picture or a couple pictures from your library,
Hmm.
and then it'll give you 3 games. And I've tried it multiple times, and it always seems to be the same one. It's like a shampoo game, and it's like eating something and licking a lollipop. And then after that, it brings you to a screen. It's like, buy this pack for $8 or buy this pack for like $5 or $6. And if you buy both packs, you could do a mix and match. One gives you 30 games, one gives you 50 games. So you get 80 total games, mix and match you could do. And I'm
Hmm.
like, this is neat, but this isn't, no, it's not worth the money for me.
Yeah.
I had fun with the 3 games. I wish there was more for free that I can mess with. And it's also weird seeing like it's in the top, like I'm scanning all your pictures and it's scanning for faces of like, and I'm just like, yeah, I kind of don't close the app. Even though I know they're not using my photos, it still just looks weird. So
Yeah.
that was the extent of what I played. I did not pay for it. If you pay for it, let me know if those other games are great. I'm sure they are. It's got the Nintendo charm. I
Sure.
wish there was more for free. And maybe if they run a sale, like if they say we'll give you each pack $1 a piece, I would buy it at $1 a piece. I will admit that. I will pay $2 for this game, but
Sure.
that's the extent of it.
Mm. Yeah. I tried it out, or I didn't try it out, but I downloaded it with the intention of doing what you said as well, just try it out. And yeah, I haven't booted it up yet, but that's interesting to know. It's basically just a very, very, very short trial demo kind of thing.
Three games you get to play.
That's too bad. So yeah, I'm not planning on paying for this game. So let's see in the chat. Smash JC, who's Gem from Pure Nintendo, is here and saying hey, and also interested to hear our thoughts on Picto Nico. She said it's a tiny trial, and then Millennium Falcon says just said hey, and good to be here. Listen in. So let us know what you guys have been playing in the chat. For me, on Switch, played some R-Type Dimensions 3, which Barry and I did a game chat on. That is now posted as well. Played a little more Constance as well, and still enjoying that one. I also booted up Pokemon Champions finally.
I
Uh,
saw that.
and played a little bit of it, just kind of poked around for a little bit. There are a lot of demos that it kind of walks you through and everything, and I quickly realized that it's that style of game that expects you to keep logging in, and they've got different events and different things going on all the time and different ways that you can spend money in this game and all that stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't know if this is for me, but I'll keep poking around at least for the free side of things.
You play a lot
It's
for free.
it's like hours, right, that you get for free because it shows like
You could
3 hours or something at the top.
No, I believe you could play as much as you want. I mean, I bought the starter pack, which was
Okay.
like $6 or whatever. But I believe you could just play as much as you want. The only
Huh.
thing is you could recruit one Pokemon a day for free as a trial, but
Yeah.
you also get tickets, or you could buy them with VP. You get VP from daily just playing
Right.
the game. And that's what
Right.
I mainly do. I log in, I rent a Pokemon, or I purchase it if I want it, and then I play a match. And that's all I do every day. Just a quick little
Okay.
thing, and that gives me all my daily stuff. And
Yeah.
it's fun because I get to I've
Sure.
learned a lot of different strategies, and it's a very different game versus the others, like
Yeah.
the battle. And I've had some really fun matches.
Okay. Yeah, I need to see. I need to spend more time with it to see if that 3 hours thing is an actual 3 hours for the demo or what that is. But it does. I remember it saying at the top left. But yeah, there's tons of stuff that you can get for free and just playing around and all that stuff, which I've played around. That also prompted me to check out Pokemon Bank. And I realized I don't think I'd ever logged into Pokemon Bank just to check it out. And so I did spend a little bit of time poking around the Switch version of it, and then I got the mobile app version of it too. And I like transferred one Pokemon from Pokemon Go over there, which did mean I played some Pokemon Go on mobile as well. So I was kind of just trying out a bunch of stuff just to see how it is and see how it works together. I haven't spent a ton of time with any of it, but I just kind of just to see what it's like. Played some Mina the Hollower on PC, which Barry and I did the game chat for recently. So he played on Switch and I played it on PC. And spoiler alert, we really enjoyed that game as well. So that's over there on our YouTube channel if you haven't checked that out. And then also on mobile, played some Clash Royale and Pokemon TCGP. And as Barry alluded to earlier or mentioned earlier, they just come out with a new set of cards and I'm just a little over 50% on that one, which is not too
This one
shabby.
seems like an easy set.
It's I think 72 is the main set without all the art cards. So yeah, I think I'm just a little bit over that, which is not too bad. Since considering I've never spent money on this game, I almost have the last set. I'm like 3 away from the previous
Yeah, I
set.
didn't finish the last set either. I
Oh
think I'm three
really?
away.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm doing pretty well. I have a ton of cards before like when the game first came out and I ignored it before you got me to download it. And so I have a ton of cards still from the very beginning that I still need to catch up on. But since I've been playing, I've been trying to keep up with and I got either 100% or close to 100% on the rest of them.
It's
Um,
fun though, just even collecting the
oh yeah.
cards.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I enjoy it. It's something I do pretty much every day. I'll log in and collect what I can and yeah. Let's go to the chat. Lots of conversations going on there. Smash JC said she's heard lots of good things about Constance. Checking that out for sure. Yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. There's a little bit of places where it's like, okay, where do I go now? But that's like Metroidvania style games. That's always going to be the case. But I'm enjoying it so far. And then Oki Reps is joining us. Hey, and also it's like playing the demo for Adventures of Elliot and played some of Marvel Cosmic Invasion as well. And then he also said he saw the chat on R-Type and looks like your review plus others have made NinTendo Games pause the release of the physical. Yeah, we'll get into that in just a bit as well in our headlines. And then Cosmic Invasion says Cosmic Invasion is cool. Been using the crossplay with his brother in Steam. And Elliot, hard for me to say how long it is because I play in small bits. But yeah, I'm excited to get back into Elliot as well. I think I just downloaded the new demo. I think I did that last night. If not, I intended to. As I was going through the Nintendo store mobile app, and I was like, because they have a whole section, of demos, and I was like, oh, I should try that. Oh, I should try that. Oh, I should try that. So I'm pretty sure I downloaded it last night with the intention of playing it soon. And then Millennium Falcon says, got the Mario Elephant Amiibo for Super Mario Brothers Wonder, meet up in Balboa Park, and really like the fun factor of smashing things around and shooting water out of the trunk. That's fun.
Oh, I before we move on, I had an interesting thing happen to me on the eShop
Yeah.
that I hadn't seen before. So because you mentioned Mario Wonder Bell Park, made me think of it with the Switch 2 edition.
Mm-hmm.
There are several games out there, and I'm pretty sure we've discussed this on the podcast, where if you buy or have the Switch 1 version digitally, you can get the Switch 2 version completely for free. It's a separate app, but you can still download it. games like Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, the Legendary Edition, Tony Hawk 3 and 4, the Collector's Edition, Balatros like that, Tomb Raiders like that, both the reboot and the 1 to 3. And recently, Stray just came out. Stray's like that too. If you have the
Hmm.
Switch 1, you get the Switch 2 for free. But there was a game that I decided to finally get. I got the Switch 2 version because I didn't see anything about this, and that was the Disney Afternoon Collection.
Oh yeah.
It was on sale right now. I figured I'd get the Switch 2 version. This way I figured that's going to be one I'm going to pass to my son to play for sure. And then today I went to the eShop and the Switch 1 version was listed for free. I've never seen it actually work in reverse. So I was able to
Oh
get the Switch
yes.
1 version for free this time. Usually it's only if you have the Switch 1 version they let you upgrade for free. This one it went in reverse,
I
which no other
believe,
games have.
if I remember correctly, I think EA FC 26, I think also did that for me.
Really? Okay,
I
it's
believe
so weird.
it was a game that it caught me off guard because I was like, "Wait a I don't have that." Okay, weird, because it doesn't happen very often, like you said, but I think it was
Yeah.
that one that because so when it does happen, it really catches you off guard, and, yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
was
it
looking
was
through like the deals. I was like
FC26.
free download.
Yeah.
So I mean get it anyways, put it on your account, you might as well, it's free. But it just I thought, was this Atari? Are they doing this because I have the
Mm.
Mortal Kombat collection? But the Switch 1 version of Mortal Kombat is not free for me because I have the Switch 2. So no, it's not universal, but apparently this game is one of those. So if you are interested in the game, I don't know if you buy the Switch 1, you also get the Switch 2. It might work that way, but I can tell you I bought the Switch 2 when I got the Switch 1.
Yeah. Jim says Stray is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I was excited to see the enhanced version for Switch 2. Um, and I think it's on
If you're
sale right
interested,
now as well.
it is, but if you're interested, buy the Switch 1 version and then just get the Switch 2 for free, and this way you have both applications. So if
Mm,
you still have a Switch 1 and a Switch 2, you actually have two copies of the game. So, you can play on either system, or you could at least like lend out the Switch 1 version to somebody on your family plan,
sure.
and then they could play and you can play. So you might as well pay one price, get both games.
Which is really, really helpful, especially if you have any games like that that do multiplayer. So
Oh yeah.
you could just play multiplayer that way. Yeah, she said she's gonna get the Switch 2. She has the Switch 1. Just download the update. Yep.
Yeah, just download the other one for free.
Yeah. So this last weekend, I also got a chance to head down to Denver for the Fan Expo, and so yeah, just thanks so much for the press people there that give me access to go and check that out every year. Huge fans of what they do and everything. So this year, I got to see panels with Veronica Taylor, who is the voice of the English voice of Ash Ketchum in the Pokemon
The
anime
original.
original. Yeah. So that was fun to she can just slip right into those voices so easily. And it was like almost like I was there, like watching the show. It was great. And she's an incredibly talented voice actor. Like I had no idea how much she had done until she started talking and going through all these other things. And yeah, she's great. So that was a fun panel to go to. That was more video game related. Also saw a couple of people from The Mandalorian. Also Ralph Macchio from Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. That was cool to see. And then Bryce Dallas Howard was there. Ron Howard's daughter, who's acted in a lot of things and also now directs and stuff too. She's probably maybe the most known from Jurassic World series. Larry F. Houston from the X-Men animated series, the producer of that series, and also X-Men 97. That was cool to see him and hear him talk about that. We also got to see a little an ex a new unseen trailer for the new series. So that was fun. And then Michael Bell and Frank Welker, who are legendary voice actors. Both of them were Transformers, Transformers voice actors, but so many other projects as well. So one of the ladies from Cara Buono, I think is how you pronounce her last name. She's from Stranger Things. She played Karen Wheeler and Stranger Things. Saw John Rhys Davies and Miranda Otto from The Lord of the Rings. Orlando Bloom was there this year, which was fun to see him, of course, of Lord of the Rings and Pirates of the Caribbean and so many other things. But then also, I got to see a bunch of Goonies because they were there as well. So Sean Astin, Corey Feldman, Joe Pantaleone, or Pantiliano, can't pronounce his name. Cary Green, all from the Goonies, so that was fun as well.
Our childhood.
Yeah, Sean Astin's also a voice actor for video games and stuff too. And several of these were also video game voice actors, which is really cool. I got to see several other video game voiceover artists and gaming events. And they have a Japanese arcade and tournaments and cosplayers that are doing a whole bunch of gaming stuff. In fact, I'd say probably, like, even though there's not a ton of gaming content there, like a lot of it's really other areas of pop culture, where movies and comics and stuff like that. I'd say maybe close to half of the cosplayers that I saw there were gaming related, which is really cool. Saw this whole set of princesses from the Mario series. They were all hanging out and together, and then they ran into Mario and Luigi cosplayer, and they all got a photo together. That was cool. So it's just, my wife and I just enjoy like watching all the cosplayers, and there's some amazing cosplayers there as well. So yeah, that they have a ton of different fan expo events. So if you head over to fanexpohq.com, you can see all the different events. So there's ones in like Anaheim, Boston, Chicago, I think Toronto, Dallas, Edmonton, New Orleans, somewhere in Oregon, Portland, Vancouver, Cleveland, Calgary, Orlando, Philadelphia, and Denver. So tons of different fan expos. So if you haven't checked out them, then be sure to do so. It's a fun time, and yeah, again, thanks to the to Fan Expo for being able to like giving us an opportunity to go check it out and hear from all the different people within fandom, but especially the video game related stuff. That was fun to check out. Millennium Falcon says, "Jealous of me." Oh no, yes, you should definitely go there. Unfortunately, I think maybe Millennium Falcon was the one that asked on our last episode. Peter Cullen was supposed to be there, and he ended up injuring his back before for
No.
Fan Expo, so he wasn't able to come and be a part of that panel for Transformers.
That
So
sucks.
I was bummed that he wasn't going to be able to be there, but I think he's doing okay now. But yeah, that was a big bummer that he wasn't going to be able to be there. But they did bring Michael Bell as a surprise guest to also be a part of that, so that was fun. So well, let's move into some headlines, and of course, Barry or Greg's not here to talk about his all the Nintendo music stuff that happens
I
this
know.
time, like one of his favorite things to do. And this is the one that we have a lot in there. So we'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, we got some headlines. So Barry, kick us off with the first one.
Yeah, so surprise, Microsoft is doing what they said they were going to do, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 has been announced for the Switch too. What's weird is Nintendo had its own separate announcement as opposed to like the standard announcement, because I don't know why they like to do that. It arrives on October 23rd, and the Switch 2 version will support mouse controls.
And Nintendo and Lego have released just a little video saying the Donkey Kong sets will be rolling soon. And so we don't really know when it's going to happen, but we are now going to get a Donkey Kong Lego set at some point. And all I got to say is it's about time.
Speaking of Donkey Kong, one of the games that Greg has been asking for a long time, as well as so many other people, has finally going to Nintendo Switch Online. Donkey Kong 64 is swinging on to the Switch Online Plus expansion pack and 64 app on June 3rd. What's funny is the original game, you needed the expansion pack to play, and it even came with it. And to play this version, you also need the expansion pack.
As we alluded to earlier, I apologize. I have the wrong thing up here. But yeah, as we alluded to earlier, NN has made some announcements recently that they have heard, which we kind of alluded to on the last episode. They've heard about what is going on, and they're going to be doing some work on R-Type Dimensions 3. They've recently released a second update. So back on May 26th, they released a first kind of saying, "Hey, we heard you." Now, then on June 2nd, so just today, they've said they are going to do a comprehensive improvement initiative on R-Type Dimensions 3. So they are hearing the community feedback. They have put out a roadmap of where they're going, what they're going to be working on. So they're going to be working on this entire like community guided improvement process to this game to really make sure that there's all this improvement that was going to enhance the game. So if you haven't checked out our game chat, basically we've noticed some things, and a lot of other people noticed some things as well. And so they're doing internal and external quality assurance along this game, which I think we maybe have mentioned that they should have maybe done a little bit more of that. And then also with all of this, they are postponing the physical production of the different games, including the cartridge for Switch, uh, Switch 2. So yeah, thanks for listening, NN, and we hope all this improvement goes quickly and goes well.
And too bad Greg's not here, like you alluded to. Nintendo Music got a huge update last night. In addition to more tracks, they can now be accessed from web browsers and compatible tablets rather than only just from the phone, as well as Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are now supported along with voice controls. Now, all we need is for us to be able to access Nintendo Music from our Switch. Like, you push the home button and the menu pops up, let us access Nintendo Switch. Little Nintendo Music through the Switch. But they did add on May 21st 72 tracks from The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds from the 3DS, 28 to on May 28th, 23 tracks from Pikmin from GameCube, and on June 1st, just yesterday, along with all this update, 37 tracks from Mario Kart World from the Switch 2.
And Nintendo decided to drop something else recently. Just today, they said that they're partnering with Crocs, of all places, and you're going to be able to get a ton of different Crocs in different Nintendo styles, mostly in Mario. So you can get the Super Mario style Crocs, and you can get Princess Peach and Yoshi, Bowser. And then, of course, they have all the different charms that you can put in your Crocs as well, like Yoshi in a question block, Superstar, pink Yoshis, yellow Yoshis, blue Yoshis, all those different things. You can also buy packs with Mario's 5 friends and the different 5 foes as well. So if you want to represent them on your feet. So Crocs fans and Nintendo fans can rejoice. They can get all their Crocs and their giblets over at crocs.com.
And there's going to be a ton of game announcements happening right now. We know this, but there was one that happened just earlier today, kind of just out of nowhere. Toy Story Retro Roundup plus Toy Story 3 Complete Edition Double Pack has been announced from Atari and Digital Eclipse. The physical is coming to both Switch and Switch 2 as a 2-pack. Digital, I don't know if it's going to be the same, probably 2 different applications. This comes out October 15th, and this contains the original Toy Story from 1995 on the Genesis version, the Super Nintendo, and the Game Boy version. Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue from 1999, the PlayStation 1 version. Toy Story 2 from 1999, the Game Boy Color version. Buzz Lightyear of Star Command from 2000, the PlayStation 1 and the Game Boy Color versions. Toy Story Racer from 2001, the PlayStation 1 and Game Boy Color version. And then as a bonus, A Bug's Life has been added from 1998, the PlayStation 1 and the Game Boy Color versions. Sadly, no N64 versions were included.
And finally, we've got a lot of showcases to talk about on this episode, but there's also a lot of showcases that are going to be coming up very, very soon. Mostly in connection with Summer Game Fest, which officially the live event is on June 5th. But some of those Summer Game Fest events have already happened. But coming up this week, we've got June 4th is the Latin American Games Showcase and the Women Led Games Showcase. On June 5th, we've got Day of the Devs and also the Summer Game Fest live event. On June 6th, we've got Story Rich Showcase. And we've got on June 7th, Xbox Games Showcase and the PC Gaming Show. And of course, on June 6th through the 8th, we've got the Summer Game Fest Play Days. And reminder, I'll be there on the 6th and 7th. There's a whole lot of other events that are coming up on there as well. So be sure to check out summergamefest.com to see all of the different events. You can also sign up to be reminded of each of these. So if you're like, I can't keep them all straight, you can sign up to be reminded about each of these different showcases. And of course, there's also this rumor that maybe we're getting a Nintendo Direct on June 4th. Just a couple days. Who knows? People are saying it's 6-4, so it's like a big deal. It's 64 for Nintendo. But who really knows? It's right in the middle of Summer Game Fest. So you'd think if they have like they're going to want to be a part of that, they'd announce it already, but then we get a Star Fox thing like 10 minutes warning. So who knows? Barry, what do you think of these headlines?
There's so much to go over. So let's start at the top. Call of Duty. I'm glad Microsoft is following through. I'm not a big Call of Duty player, but I know this is a big, big win for the Switch and big win for Nintendo. This will get new audiences to the game, and this will also get some people who maybe love Call of Duty that want it portably to buy a Switch too. So no harm can come from this. But Call of Duty hasn't been on Nintendo platforms since the Wii U days, so it's been a while. Donkey Kong Legos is cool. I probably won't get any, but if there is a Dixie Kong, I know my wife's gonna want it. DK64, I'm very happy to see it. Just more games on NSO is always a pleasure. I kind of wish they would just update it so you can switch Kongs on the fly, make it just a little easier. As for ININ, I'm glad they're taking the time to fix R-Type Dimension 3. Even if all the hitboxes and everything was, fixed, it still may not be the game for me. But the fact that they're going to take the time to make it right for the fans is a big, big win. It should have never released that way to begin with, but better late than never. Take note, other game companies, and halting the physical production to make sure that it's the better version, the proper versions on the cartridge. A+ for that. So thank you for that. Nintendo Music is great. I think that it's great that they've added that. I know we've had discussions about Nintendo Music in the past, and people in the comments have said, like, I would use it more if it had Apple CarPlay or Android Auto.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that announced, I was like, oh, whoever that was, I forget because it's been so long ago. I bet they're happy. And for all those that want to use it, I think that's great. The Mario Crocs is weird. I know I was talking a little bit in the chat. The Animal Crossing Crocs came out last year, and I had to rush around and get those at launch for my wife, and she does have a pair of them, and I find all the little pins or whatever they are, that the charms that go on them. But the Mario Crocs we probably won't get. Toy Story Collection is cool. I look forward to that. I didn't really play the games. I did play Bugs Life because they kind of came out. I loved Toy Story, but I was kind of moving away from more licensed games. But I know with my son now, that's going to be kind of cool where, if you want to eventually watch the movie and go, you can play like the Super Nintendo version of the original and stuff like that. And, just have fun with it. And I love that they're updating Toy Story 3. So, he can kind of experience the whole era. And upcoming game showcases, all for it. The fact that we have this many I mean, I remember when you and I would cover E3 and we had, the big three, and
Mhm.
we would have like Ubisoft, EA, and Activision, and like that was it because Konami stopped doing it and all that stuff. And that wasn't bad. It was like, here's what it is. And maybe there was like Day of the Devs. I think might have started doing a little thing. Like it wasn't
Mhm.
that bad. It wasn't that huge. Now it's like, oh my god. I mean, I remember the week with the one year we did like literally weekly, nightly recaps on E3. We did that right now. It would be torture. We had less responsibility back then, and we could sit and just watch all these
Yep.
things.
And we're gonna try to do that in 2 episodes of this
Yes,
podcast, and we're still not even gonna scratch the surface. Yeah.
man,
It's funny that you say that, like, the bad thing is, and so we've now gotten to the point where it's bad that there's too much gaming
too
news.
much. Well, all right, so it's a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah,
So it's
totally.
great that there's so many games out there that everyone can play and enjoy, and there's so much variety. That is fantastic. And more people are growing up with games,
Mhm,
and when they get old enough, they want to create their own games and make their dreams come true. That is fantastic. The problem is because there's so many games that
mhm,
it's really hard to capture the attention of people, and great games will underperform just not because they're bad, just because there's just not enough exposure, b too much exposure because so many of these showcases and one trailer goes in and before your brain can digest it, here's
mhm.
the next and here's the next, and you just got to digest. You're getting spoon fed them.
Yep,
At the same time, there's only so many hours in the day. Like
yep,
I mentioned, I'm playing Octopath Traveler Zero, a game I bought back in December. And I'm final, and it's not like it's, well, this is a backlog, or it's a lull. Let me just go pick up something randomly. This is a game I was looking forward to that I wanted to
yeah,
play, and I couldn't play it till now because of work, life, and all the other great games coming out, and I had to pick and choose and prioritize. There's so many, and that's just video games. That's not counting all the stuff on TV, all the streaming services, all the movies, all the music. If all the books coming out, the just doom scrolling in general. How many hours a day are wasted doom scrolling on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever social media platform you use, or multiple platforms?
yep,
It's just insane. So it's both a double-edged sword, and unfortunately the ones that suffer the most are the game devs that don't have their game get catapulted up. And we've seen it ourselves. We've seen it with other, friends of mine have told me, they've expressed that. And it's a great time to be alive, but like I've said before, and I'll say it again right now, if right now video game production stopped on everything and no future game ever came out, you will die before you get to play every game that has come out as of right now. My son, who is not even 3 yet, would die before he got to play every game that has come out. And he's got his whole life ahead of him. It is just so many games out there.
yep, yeah. I think that's like my biggest feedback, and we'll get into that in just a second when we dive into everything that's happened this last 2 weeks, as well as far as showcases that have already happened. But yeah, there's so much to cover, and I think it's great that we have the ability, and these publishers and everything have the ability to throw together these showcases. I think Nintendo is really treading new ground and being able to put together these directs, and now everybody can do it, which is great. And access to be able to make that happen is fantastic. But there's so much now, and it's tough for gamers to play everything. It's tough for us to cover everything. But it's great that we have tons of great games that are readily available, but it just gets hard because there's no way that we can play them
No way.
all or cover them all.
And the nice thing is, at least the showcases are kind of genre specific. Like there's the Wholesome Direct, which hasn't happened yet. That's more cozy games.
Mhm,
So if you love Call of Duty and love FIFA and love Grand Theft Auto, and that's why you play, like that showcase is going to do nothing for you. But if you
yep.
love like Animal Crossing and Pocopia and Stardew Valley, then that showcase might have your next favorite game. It's the
Mhm,
same. One of the things we're going to talk about, Indie Quest, is all about RPGs. I'm an RPG fan, so for me, a showcase like that catches my attention. But if you don't like RPGs, then you're going to be like, I can skip it. It has nothing for me. And we're really at that point that it's like a library. And you walk into a library right now, and it's like, what do you want to read? There's the fiction section and not fiction section. the historical section, the kids section. You have that with games now. Each category is so many games in it that each genre has a showcase or multiple showcases. And we've seen that with like Nintendo Directs in the past where people go, oh, there's too many farming games. That was a big thing for one Direct. Oh,
Mhm.
why is there so many farming games? Or, oh, too many anime games in this show. Yeah, there are. But so not every showcase is going to be for you. And Nintendo has a delicate balance because it's impossible to please everybody. But you got to take that with any of these showcases. You're going to see stuff you like and see
Mhm.
stuff you don't.
Yep. Yep. For sure. Uh, the rest of the news, Nintendo Direct, I don't know. Like, I kind of I'm leaning toward I mean, I think it's always safer to, like, have low expectations, especially when it comes to Nintendo, so my expectation is it's not gonna happen, and then if it happens, I'll be surprised. Um, but, uh but yeah, I really don't think it's gonna happen, but we'll see. Do you have any thoughts around that, Barry? I know it could be good
So
either way.
I've been delaying this, and I probably have to do this tomorrow. I have a blood draw on Thursday morning at
Hmm,
9 o'clock.
hmm.
Just a routine blood draw, and I thought about it and said, "Oh God, if they do it on Thursday, they usually do it around 9 o'clock in the morning." Like,
You'd be
oh
sitting
no!
there taking your blood, watching it on your phone.
I'm like, do I call and like try and like reschedule like off of a chance that this happens? So I've been waiting to see if any announcements. So I might just call tomorrow and just be like, could I go Friday instead, or can I go like an hour earlier? So like, can I come at 8:30 or whatever, just in case?
Put
I
off the
don't
medical stuff for Nintendo.
know. It's just a blood draw. An hour or two won't matter. Nothing's gonna change.
That's funny.
But it's just you never know. Do I think there's going to be a June Direct? Yes, and I've said that for
Mhm.
months now. When people said, "Why is there no Direct in March? Why is there no Direct in April?" They didn't need to. Nintendo puts out Directs when they need to show new games. We've known games every single month. We're now in June. We know Star Fox, and we know next month is both Rhythm Heaven, and we know it's Splatoon Raiders. So we know. So that leaves us August or July, yeah, August, September, October, November, December, 5 months, and we only know one more game, which is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weaves. That's the only one we don't know a date for. So yes, I do think there's going to be a direct to cover the second half of the year, at least one, possibly two, and we're going to find out what games are going to fill those months and probably a Fire Emblem release date. Do I think it's going to be June? Yes, I do think it's going to be June because we're now at that point where people are looking forward to Star Fox, which they're pushing, Rhythm Heaven, and Splatoon, but we don't know anything past that. And I think now's a good time, especially they historically did stuff in June with E3. Summer Game Fest is going on. People are exciting for gaming news. Now is the time to capitalize because if all these showcases come out and it's like PlayStation 5, Xbox, and no Switch, because for whatever reason, like I mentioned in Call of Duty, or talking about the Call of Duty, Nintendo likes to be the one to announce the stuff instead of letting the other developers
Mhm.
announce it, which is dumb. Let it be shown off to all that audience. It's free advertising. Stop being stupid. Um, I think we need it. I
Yeah.
think at this point we're at that threshold where if
Mhm.
we don't get it June, it has to be July. If we don't get it in July, we're really in trouble. But I do think it's going to be this month. Whether it's this week or not, I don't know. It feels like this week would be a smart week because they always went, at E3. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. I just feel like I don't know. I guess I mean they could drop it at a last second. I mean, we've seen them do that stuff recently, but I feel like especially this week, you need to prepare people because there's so many other things going on. Would they have enough insight to go, okay, we got to place this at the right time in the middle of all this entire stuff? Or they're just going to be like, hey, you know what? We're Nintendo. We can do whatever we want and just pop it
That
out. Yeah.
they're so out of touch with certain things. I mean, lately they've just been randomly dropping trailers, like they just did this morning with Star Fox.
Yeah.
They've just been randomly dropping directs with they again Star Fox, and like I remember back on it was what 2020 with during the pandemic, Paper Mario got announced. The
Yep.
Origami King just got announced at a random 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern. Here's the trailer for this game. What? Where did this
Mhm.
come from? So Nintendo I think there was one E3 where Nintendo actually had their thing at the same time as another showcase, and the other showcase had a move. I think it was Sony
Probably.
or something.
I think
Like
so. But
Nintendo always
Nintendo,
had,
like, always had the same
they
day and
always had the
time.
same time, and like
Yeah.
someone put it at the same time as Nintendo, and
Yeah.
it was like, well, we're not moving. We always have this time, and I think they moved. But Nintendo is very much traditionalist, and they just go to their own march of their own beat. With
Yep.
E3 was an actual organization where they were physically there. Summer Game Fest is Jeff Keighley's baby. It's not like there's no ESA. Nintendo's not on a board. Anyone can participate in Summer Game Fest, so they could just be like, we could just do what we want.
Yeah.
It's with no
Yeah.
care to what Summer Game Fest's schedule is.
It's true. It's true. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Barry. I think it's most likely going to happen sometime in June, but when, I don't know. I also don't like. I get the idea where people are thinking, "Oh, it's 6-4 for 64. It's got to happen." Well, maybe, but like, I don't know. Like there's been very, very, very rare times where Nintendo has paid that much attention to the date that they're doing it, and did stuff like that on purpose. And I think the only ones that I can remember are like around Mario Day, which they've established themselves being a thing. I don't remember
Chapter of
anything
Games did it.
else. Yeah, except for it's a little different in Europe, and all the rest of the places where we switch the day and everything. It'd be 10 Mar for them. Uh,
Or IO more.
yeah, Iomar. But anyway, let's see. Millennium Falcon's also hoping that they have a Mandalorian and Grogu game for Switch. When if the Nintendo Direct happens, um, yeah, it'd be cool. Like, I
The
enjoyed the
closest thing
movie.
I could say is Lego Skywalker Saga,
Yeah,
and I think there you can have Mandalorian as DLC.
yeah,
So that's about as close
yeah.
as you're gonna get right now until
Unfortunately,
something's
no
announced.
Grogu though.
No Grogu,
I
but the
think he comes along
Mandalorian is.
with, but you can't play as him. Yeah. Um, Other headlines, Call of Duty coming back, that's great. I think, it's fantastic to actually see it start to happen. I think maybe the last Call of Duty game that I actually played through almost all the way, was one of the ones that was on Wii U. Since then, I've only dabbled around with Xbox games, and I never owned one since then. So, I don't think I'll buy Modern Warfare 4, but cool to see it there. And then Donkey Kong Lego sets, that's cool. We'll see how I'm sure it's going to be expensive. We'll see what set they do. I have a feeling they'll probably do like a classic set. Is probably what we'll see, is the great, or the classic, screen from the original Donkey Kong is probably what they'll do. And then Donkey Kong 64, that's so much fun. I've not played it in forever, so it's gonna be cool to have it tomorrow on the Switch online. And in games, we already talked about that. It's so cool that they're hearing from the fans and the critics and everybody in between, and listening and doing some really good stuff. And like Barry, like you said, like, I love the fact that they're taking into account that they are holding off on the physical until the actual final version is done and ready to go, what they believe in, before they put it out on physical. That's really great. Um, yeah, Nintendo music stuff, exciting to see that. Um, I've never thought about not having it on a tablet or not having it on a website, but that's cool that's there now. But I think CarPlay and Android Auto is a solid update to have. I know people were, like we said, we've been clamoring for that in our chat room before. Super Mario Crocs, I'm going to not get, because I don't enjoy Crocs. I don't know if I've ever tried a pair of Crocs on before. I just don't think I would enjoy them. Um, I don't know. They're made
Maybe
down
you
the
will.
street.
You'll be sporting Mario ones.
Maybe they're made. I mean, not really down the street, but not too far from me, right here in Colorado. So maybe I'll swing in and say, "Hey, I'm here to cover the Nintendo stuff." Um, and then Toy Story collection. I think I played one of the Toy Story games. That's cool that they're coming out, but it doesn't really excite me that much. And I just think it's funny that the Bugs Life is thrown in there. It's like, okay. Sure, why not?
Well,
Uh,
that's the only game format, so it's not going to get another collection. Why not just throw it in as a freebie?
sure, I guess. But if you take that approach, you're going to have to throw a whole bunch of other games in there that are never going
Well,
to
no,
get
I don't think any
featured
other
in a
Pixar
collection as
games
well.
really got games like and Incredibles did, like on
Yeah.
the PS2 and
Uh-huh.
GameCube, but like I don't think Finding Nemo got one, I believe,
Hmm.
as well. But like that's it, and those are like later generations. So I think it's still Bugs Life was that one because remember Pixar was Toy Story, then Bugs Life, then Toy Story 2. So it was like part of that sandwich. So I guess they figured we have room on the cartridge, we
I
could
guess
throw it
so.
in there for free. It's a free game, why not?
Sure. Yeah. Well, be sure to let us know all your thoughts on all of these different headlines that we've talked about so far. Let us know what your thoughts are, at least before the Nintendo Direct actually happens, if you actually think it's going to happen or not. Come in here later and you're like, yeah, I believe it's going to happen, like after the fact. Uh, but let us know down in the comments and about all the different news we're talking about. But let's move into our gigantic main discussion for this episode. And I say gigantic because I'm pretty sure there was about 12, as I said earlier, 12 different gaming showcase events that happened over this last couple weeks since our last episode. And for the most part, we tried to go through as many of them as we could, and write down the games that we know that were mentioned that are coming to Switch. A lot of these I was able to watch and kind of scrub through and make sure I saw the game, saw it's heard it, it's announced for Switch, wrote down the details. Some of these are coming from a website that I'm incredibly grateful for that I actually just found today. And that website is called gamesrecap.io. And so they have a big list of all the different showcases and games and details about them and things like that. So some of these are maybe they Barry already found one detail in one of the events that wasn't up to date yet. So we went through that and everything too. But it's a great resource and I just wanted to shout them out because they were incredibly helpful as we were preparing for this event because there were so many showcases and so many games to talk about. So make sure you go and check out gamesrecap.io and give them some love. But Barry, before we jump into all this different details, I'm curious, like, what do you think? Like we kind of alluded to this earlier, but what do you think about all these different showcases and stuff? Like, is this a good thing that where we are with gaming, or is this kind of maybe potentially a negative thing? And I know there's pros and cons that we talked about earlier, but where do you kind of laying on, or where do you find yourself with all these things happening?
It's tough. It's tough because I'm attached, like I'm part of the industry,
Hmm.
and I have been for years. And I used to put on presentations myself,
Yeah.
uh, although ours were much smaller scale. But I think I think everybody is trying to capture two things. One, the E3 magic that
Mhm.
has been lost, and two, Nintendo Direct magic.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo Directs seem to hit the general populace different than other showcases. Even Microsoft Showcase or Sony State of Play. I just think overall there just seems to be more expectations. Like,
Hmm.
it's like held to a higher standard almost, if you will, and judged definitely harsher because of it. But I think those of us that grew up with the E3 heyday, so E3 started in the mid 90s. It originally started, it was just a press event. The only way we found out about it was in like a magazine like GamePro or
Hmm.
EGM after the fact, and they showed stuff. And it wasn't until the early 2000s really that they started to being broadcast, and you got to start to see stuff on the internet. And it just became the first time it was like broadcast, it was like a spectacle. It was like, whoa, this is cool. And I think for all of us growing up, it became Christmas in June. It really became a Christmas. It was like a Christmas week, or at least the beginning of the week when the showcases happened, because that was the one time of year that newspapers and credible newspapers, credible magazines paid attention that weren't gaming specific. So all these developers are trying to use this as a place or as a way to advertise their game to the non-gamers to
Mhm.
say, look, this is why you need to pay attention to us. And I feel like they pulled out all the stops. They really pushed hard. We had console reveals. We had console reveals and demos of consoles that never came out. The Jaguar VR was shown off. The Sega VR was shown off. The Nintendo's Atlantis, stuff like that was talked about. Show off the Panasonic M2. Um, these things never came out, and it was like this was a showpiece, and it was almost like a Wild West, and we never knew what to expect
Mhm.
because we didn't get showcases the rest of the year. This was the one time of the year that developers reached out and talked to us. The only other way we got announcements were just random press releases would go out. Sites like IGN, or even before it was N64.com, would post that, or you would get a Game Pro or EGM or Nintendo Power or whatever, and you would read about the games coming out.
Mhm.
So this was a big deal, and it was
Yeah.
special. And over the years, that started to dissipate. And of course, when Nintendo started doing Nintendo Directs instead, a lot of people felt some of the magic was gone because there was something special about those stage shows. That's not to say the stage shows didn't have their own problems. I mean, Cammy Dunaway on a balance board with Shaun White, I could probably go without seeing again. And Wii Music's wonderful performance, and of course, the ending fireworks of the very last Nintendo showcase was
Mhm.
not the way to go out. But for every one of those moments, there was Miyamoto coming out to Ocarina of, or to Twilight Princess, and there was Kid Icarus Uprising with Kid Icarus coming back. There was just so many of those great moments. The 3DSs, attached to the booth babes walking down the aisle to let people try them out. Um, but that magic slowly started to dissipate, and as more people backed out of E3 and less people cared because now they could have Nintendo Directs. Now Nintendo Directs weren't just June. Now they were happening more times. So we kind of got spoiled. And now it's like, well, now it's less special if it happens more times in a year. And I feel everybody's trying to capture that. And when everybody captures that, it's no longer special. It's like kids growing up, maybe you remember Christmas or Hanukkah, or if you didn't celebrate either of those, your birthday and you got presents. And it was something special. And it was like, oh, you looked forward to it because you were finally getting what you wanted and you had to wait for it and you put in your list. And it was what you got was going to last you for months, until the next special holiday or birthday or whatever. But if you get a gift every single day, it's so special.
Yeah.
Like I think I look at my son, right? He's less than 3, but on his second birthday, he got so many gifts. Over half of them he doesn't even play with, not because he doesn't have an interest in them. We didn't even get a chance to give it to him because he was satisfied with a few
Mhm.
gifts. These 5 things I'm happy with. We don't need to get the 50 other things. He's happy with these. We don't want to overload him. And that's it. Sometimes less is more. And I feel like this is a true overloading status we're at. And one of the things I've said on this podcast before in the past, talking about presentations, like when I would write the premium edition directs, one of the things I always tried to do personally is try to give digestion space. So if you go back and watch any of those showcases that we put on, we talk about a game, we did a trailer, and then we talked about it some more
Mhm.
before the next trailer. We gave it its own section and highlighted it and let the developer talk. And we really wanted the game itself to resonate with people. Now there's so many of these showcases where you watch it and it's just trailer after trailer after trailer. And if I show you 5 to 10 trailers in a row with no time to sit there and digest what you just saw, and I said to you, what did you think of the 4th trailer? You would sit there and most likely, I mean, maybe you're a genius and can remember exactly. You would probably be like, which was the 4th one again? And that would have to be reminded. Oh yeah, that was pretty good. Right? And like,
Yeah.
but did you really remember it? Are you remembering maybe a scene and like, oh yeah, that's enough for you to make that adjustment and that's that statement? Because it's too much. It's
Mhm.
sensory overload, and it's not special.
Yep.
Like if you were given a game a week, or you buy a game a week, you know, and I'm guilty of this too. I do it all the time. Um, it's almost like you don't take the time with the game. You're rushing through the game because next week you have a new game to play.
Absolutely.
Versus back when we grew up, we got a game or two, and that lasted us 2, 3 months or more. We had to trade
Mhm.
games with friends to play other games because
Mhm.
that's all we could afford and that's all we had. So you replayed those games. We
Mhm.
talked about Star Fox 64. I got medals on every single level. I wouldn't do that now because time and doing
Right.
I messed up. I got to restart and replay it all.
Mhm.
But we did it because that's what we did.
Yeah.
That's what we had. That's all we had. And we played those multiplayer games so much
Mhm.
because that extended the length of the games for us.
Yep.
Game longevity was a big thing. Now, some people look at a 50, 60-hour RPG and go, that's a detriment. I'm looking for a 4 to 5 hour game because that's all I have time for in the week. And next week, I've got two or three other games I want to play.
You're
It's and
describing my
it's
life, Barry. Yeah.
and it's not just because we're older and life has
Yep.
new challenges, new things. I feel even for kids
Mhm.
today, with
Yeah.
it's still so many games, and it's the accessibility. I mean, we had to beg our parents to take us to Toys R Us or Funko Land or Babbage's or Planet X or whatever other store you went to, software, etc., before GameStop came in and bought everything. Um, and and you got it, and or maybe your parents took you to Kmart or Target or Walmart or whatever, and you happen to beg them to go to the electronics section. You saw a game and you begged them, please, I've been good, and they treated you and you felt like royalty. You felt like you're on top of the world. Nowadays it's just like, give me the credit card, mommy, I'm going to go to the eShop and buy whatever I want.
Yeah.
And it's instant gratification, and I think that instant gratification is transferred into these showcases.
Mhm.
And I see so many people complain when something is revealed, like, I have to wait till next year. Oh, why can't I get it right now? And Nintendo's been doing a very good job at showing things relatively before, like close to launch.
Yep.
And that's good. And that's why they haven't announced stuff in advance. But so many of these games, even to talk about, that were showcased at Summer Game Fest, are coming out next year. And it's like, yeah, it's coming out next year. You got to wait.
Mhm.
And some people can't do that anymore. It's like a spoiled generation. They
Yeah.
just want it now. They don't
Yep.
care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for
It's
coming to my TED Talk.
appreciate that. Yeah, I think I'm right there with you on all those points, and I think for us to like, I'm a little nostalgic for those days of the past because of all those things you said, but also, man, like, I enjoyed, like, digesting that stuff myself and being able to live with these announcements for a bit, but, like, honestly, like, I just a little insight of Barry and I were talking before we started streaming, and I was telling him, "I gotta catch my breath for a bit because like, before we actually start talking about this, because 'cause I've been, like, just overwhelmed by all these different showcases that I was just I skimmed through most of them because I didn't have the time to sit down and watch them all. And again, that there's pros and cons. I love that we have so many games out. There's stuff for anyone and everyone out there, and so many people are making great games on incredibly large teams. And then there's some stuff we'll talk about that were like one man teams, and they're doing a fantastic job and they're releasing great games, and it's so much fun. But, like, yeah, it's like I do long for the times where it's like it's feast or famine, in a way, and I long for those days when maybe we had a little more famine, so that I can just actually process things a little bit, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
weird to say because we have had, like, we've talked about before in some of our end of the year gaming, awards that we give out. Man, there's times where we had nothing to choose from, and I was tempted to pick games from previous years because, we had nothing, and then nowadays, like, that is not the case at all. So it's great, but it's a lot to process.
Oh, it really is. And you could even challenge yourself and say, you know what, this month, like June. let's say like this month, all I'm gonna play is Star Fox. Like you're waiting till the 25th, so you have to play previous games until then. But then after you play Star Fox and it turns to July, you go, okay, challenge over. What did I miss in June? And the list is like 300 games, and you're just like, oh my god. But by playing any of those games you missed, you're now eating into your July time. And I'm guilty of this too. I will look at a schedule and I'll say these are the pillar games. These are the tentpole games that I absolutely desire to play. These are the games I'm gonna play. And then any gap in between that I have, I'll fill with smaller games or games that in my backlog. Like right now I'm technically in a gap because the next big game for me is Star Fox. Oh no, is Elliot. Adventures of Elliot. And I'm like, well, now I have time finally to do Octopath. But if I don't, and let's say like I finish Octopath and I've got a you know 3 days before Elliot, I'm not really going to start anything new because I'm not going to have time to finish it. So it's kind of like, what do I do at this time? Like now I focus on getting everything else done so that I can play Elliot stress free and guilt free.
Hmm.
But that's the way I've been living, and I've been living that for years now. Like it's literally here's my tentpole games. These are the ones I'm gonna play, and then any time in between. And sometimes, spoiler alert, the games in between become some of my game of the years, or at least in game of the year nominations, where
Hmm.
it's like I have time in between. I was 2 years ago, I think it was. It was I had time in between. I played Tsukiyomi, and that was my
Hmm.
number one favorite remake. And it was just like I have time. Let me just boot this up. Everyone's talking about it.
Hmm.
And that's happened with a lot of games where I've just that happened with what do we call it? 100 Day
Hmm.
Last Defense Academy. That was a game that I was on my radar, but it wasn't a tentpole game, and I had time. I'm like, I'm just gonna boot this up, and it became my game of the year. And I spent over 100 hours in it. Like it just took over.
Yeah.
It flabbergasted me. And again, sometimes it's the games that you don't expect that surprise you, and there's so many of them. And for every game like that, there's 100, there's 1,000 more at this point that you will never touch in your life because you just don't have the time.
Yeah.
And that's what saddened me so much because there's so many great games out there.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into these games, and here's the deal. There, like I said, there's like 12 different things, so we're not gonna have the time to spin through these. We're going to do exactly what we're kind of complaining about, as we're gonna fly through these even faster than they did in these showcase. Because some of these are like back to back to back to back games, and I was like, I can't even type the name of the game in before they're moving on to another one. And also apologies if you watched some of these and you're like, oh, they skipped this game. If you're in the chat, let us know if we skipped any. There's a good chance that we may not catch them all, just because there are, I don't even know. I At some point, maybe after the episode, I'll count up how many games we're about to talk about in this episode. It's well over probably 200, I would assume. So there's lots of games, some repeats from different events, but we're going to basically take them in order. So the earliest one started back on May 21st, and then we'll take it all the way up until today. Actually, just a couple hours ago when Sony State of Play wrapped up. So it all started with May 21st. We had a game called, or a showcase called 6-1 Indie Showcase, and there were several different, lots of games. I think there was like 72 different games. There was something like that shown off at this event, but several for Switch. So a game called The Big Con, which is out now, but physical pre-orders are open now. That's on the Switch, and then a game called Wax Heads that's available now on the Switch. And then Spirit Swap Lo-Fi Beats to Match 3 2 is available now on the Switch. And then looking forward, they also talked about a game called Go North, that's available quarter 3 of 2026 on Switch. Isle of Reveries, which drops sometime in 2026 on the Switch. Cutout Village, 2026 on the Switch. The Florist, which is kind of this flower-based horror game, which is kind of interesting. It's on Switch 2, coming out sometime in the future. And then I'm gonna butcher how to pronounce this. I think it's Anomalic, that comes out sometime, or no, that one actually we have an actual date that is on October 29th on Switch 2. So several games for Switch, but The Florist and Anomalic specifically comes out on Switch 2. So Barry, any of those games kind of sound interesting to you? I mean, I didn't get into the details of any of them, but yeah, if you were able to watch it, anything sound interesting?
Unfortunately, I did not see the showcase, and I do not know of any of these games. Flora sounds interesting, not my
Mhm.
cup of interesting, but interesting. But yeah, it's again this falls into the whole thing of like here's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 games. You know that could be someone's entire year of gaming, and that's just 8 out of 72.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, I did not really get a chance. Oh, I'm looking at the Florist now. That looks interesting. Like,
Mhm.
again, not my cup of tea, but it's like for Resident Evil fans or Last of Us fans, I could definitely see them enjoying this.
Yeah. Yeah. Roth is in the chat and said, The Florist. He's looking forward to The Florist, as well, and, Millennium Falcon said that, liked your sweet, reference to Kid Icarus. Would like to see a dark pit and pit shmup. That'd be interesting. Um, yeah, I think the florist looks really interesting. Again, not my thing. The game that probably stands out to me most is Go North. I think it's a really interesting thing, and I think if I remember correctly, this game is actually I think made by just one person. I think it's one guy. It was also featured in another showcase that we'll talk about as well. But yeah, it seems to be kind of this immersive 3D adventure game. I was like, this looks really, really kind of cool, and I love the fact that it was a small team. If I remember correctly, one developer, and so I love checking out some of those. So sometimes games like this scratch an itch, and sometimes it's just like I want to honor that developer for creating that on his own. And I think this is one of those games that kind of do both of those things. Um, the big con also kind of seems interesting. I It's not my style of game, but it's just kind of the thought behind it seems interesting. I think it's like you have to it's like a con thing that you have to go up against. And I was like, oh, I've never played a video game like that before. So let's see. There was also a Warhammer event that was totally off of my radar, and I started looking up things. I was like, oh, Warhammer. And there was several games for Switch that were announced or talked about. And so the new games that are coming out, that also happened on May 21st. We got Warhammer Age of Sigmar Deathmaster that comes out sometimes 2027 for Switch 2. And then Total War Warhammer 3 Bashiva came out on May 21st for Switch. And then Warhammer Survivors comes out sometime this year for Switch 1 and 2. And then Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus 2 also dropped on May 21st for Switch. Barry, you a Warhammer fan?
I am not. I was a big Magic fan growing up, and I remember they played Warhammer in the same building, the same area. They had Warhammer tables, like the physical Warhammer stuff, and always looked cool. I have a couple of the games on the Switch, and other platforms, but I never really played them. And I know it's a huge, huge audience, and there's a big fandom. So it's great to see them come to the Switch and the Switch too. But no, I never really got into Warhammer.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah. I have friends as well. Yeah, that play like crazy. He's into has his little figures and painting those and does them in his 3D printer and all that stuff. And it seems like really cool to get into, but I could also see myself if I were to get into it, could be one of those another overwhelming thing. Because there's so much to it. But I've never even checked out the video games before. So I don't know. I know some of them are more adventure, some more tactical. I think there's a different styles of Warhammer games that are in that world, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I've never
I wonder what kind
once.
Survivors is. Hmm.
Yeah, I wonder. So yeah, I've never once even booted up a Warhammer game, but excited for those of you guys that are Warhammer fans. In fact, let us know. Let us know. In fact, if you are a Warhammer fan, you're listening to this, you're watching it, and you were like going to recommend one Warhammer game, video game that rules them all. You're like, you got to try this one. If you don't try any other ones, you got to try that one. Let us know in the chat or the comments, and maybe we'll check one out one of these times. Especially if it's one of those games that like we don't have to know much about Warhammer to get into it. That take that into account because I know next to nothing about it. Let's see. We got on May 26th, so a few days after those two events, we had the BitSummit Punch Mixtape that happened. And during this showcase, we got a game called Seiko Giantess Dating Sim that is going to be dropping on June 21st, or sorry, June 25th on the Switch. And then they also highlighted Animalic again on October 29th for Switch 2. Dusk is coming out soon on Switch. Schrodinger's Call is dropping on June 10th on Switch, and that's pretty soon. And then a game called Opus Prism Peak that's they highlighted, but it's also out now on Switch 1 and 2. So Barry, would you get if you get a chance to check this one out? Anything stand out to you?
Another one I did not get to see, the BitSummit Punch Mixtape. I've heard of Dusk and Opus before, but neither of them are really my kind of game.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of survival horror kind of style games
It's
in
just not
this,
my
and
type.
also, yeah, not really into the dating sims, as those of you guys that have been around for for a lot of these episodes, you know already. And Barry and Greg like to give me a hard time, even though they're also not into them. Uh, but
Because
apparently
it's
they
so
act
much
like I'm the
fun.
only one. But yeah, I think yeah, I think none of these really stood out to me. Cool games and that's great, but yeah, none of them really stood out. They also had a game, an event like right after the BitSummit Punch mixtape, and that's called just the Mix at BitSummit. So the Mix was able to be there. That was mostly just gameplay and interviews from the show floor. So I don't believe there was anything brand new that was announced or shown off during that that hadn't been already previously talked about in other showcases. But that's another thing. If you guys are interested, you can go check that out. And then we had an AG French Direct on May 27th. And during that one, we got several games. We got Deer and Boy, which is an action adventure stealth kind of puzzle game that's dropping sometime this month in June 2026 on Switch. Nocturnal, which is an action adventure game that's dropping sometime really soon, I believe, on the Switch. Goblins Collection, that's several eyes in there. This is an adventure game that dropped on May 27th on Switch. Castlevania Belmont's Curse is an action adventure game, of course, that's going to be dropping sometime 2026 on the Switch. The Witch's Bakery is a puzzle RPG sometime in 2026 on the Switch. Mazelia, I think. That's probably not even close to how you pronounce that game. But the subtitle is Echoes of the Past. This is an adventure game that's dropping on June 19th on the Switch. Emberfall is an action survival game that's coming on Switch. Dash and Drops is an action game that's dropping on August 13th on Switch. Heave Ho 2 is a party game that's coming Q3 of 2026 on the Switch. Raven's Watch Song of Thieves is an RPG that they highlighted a free update that's now available on the Switch. Colinoro is an action adventure game that's coming sometime during the Q3 of 2026 on the Switch. And then Kalam, we're going to say Kalame. This is a tactical strategy game that's dropping in Q4 of 2026 on the Switch 1 and 2. So, any thoughts about these, Barry?
This one has quite a few that I'm actually like interested in, or at least I know about more. Obviously, the big one is Castlevania. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very much looking forward to Belmont's Curse. It's going to be one of those tentpole games I was talking about. I just don't know when it's coming out. Raven's Watch, I've seen some stuff. It looks interesting.
Mhm.
It's one of those I might check out in between. Heave Ho 2 looks like it could be a lot of fun. I never played the original Heave Ho, but
Yeah.
also could look like it could be a lot of frustration. The Goblins collection is interesting. That's one that Red Art did, and it's out now. It's like I believe all PC games, like older PC games, except for like the fifth one, which is a more recent game. And it's great to see some of these PC only games from like the 90s era get console releases
Mhm.
because it was a whole like horde of PC only games, especially back then, or PC versions of console games that never came anywhere. So I love to see that kind of something like that come to consoles and to a broader audience. I don't have any nostalgia for it, but I know some people that probably do. But yeah, the rest of them I didn't really see much on, but Nocturnal sounds pretty cool too.
Mhm. Yeah, there was several games that scratched that, like, action adventure platformer kinda style game, like Emberfall, Deer and Boy seems really interesting as well, of course, Castlevania, and there's those kinda games are very intriguing, to me as well, Heave Ho, I think, like, if if I have people to play it with, I think it'd be really fun. Seems like a crazy party game. But yeah, those are the ones that I'll probably look into more of those kind of those 2D side scrolling like action adventure kind of games are definitely ones that grab my attention and similar to what we talked about earlier. It's because they're not 100-hour RPGs and I can I can spend those are more digestible for me. And but I also really love like how I love the dynamic lighting that they're able to do. And this Castlevania game looks really cool with that and as well as several other games too. I think what is it? I'm blanking on which one it is. Oh, Raven's Watch. Is that is that kind of like some of those other games that we played? I'm blanking on the names of them. The top down roguelite kind of games, um,
Like Hades, you mean?
like Hades kind of style.
I don't
Because
know. It
it
might
it
be.
looks like it, but I don't know if that's actually what it's like. Um, I think it kind of is, but it's also a game that's been out for a while. So there's like tons of players on other systems, I guess already. So it kind of seems like that, but I yeah. So I think I'm gonna look more into that game because it seems intriguing. I think. We also had a little event from people behind Dragon's Quest, and we got several announcements about Dragon Quest. So on May 27th, we found out that Dragon Quest Monsters is going to be coming out for Switch 1 and 2. And then also Dragon Quest 11S Echoes of the Elusive Age is getting a Switch 2 version, an enhanced version on September 24th. And then we got a new title and logo reveal for Dragon Quest 12, and it's going to be called Beyond Dreams. So, Barry, what'd you think of the Dragon Quest announcements?
This I was incredibly excited for. In fact, I begged my wife to take my son to school that morning because the announcement happened at 9 o'clock, and I didn't want to miss it. I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan, so Dragon Quest 11S is fantastic, and the fact that it's going to Switch 2 is great. But in typical Square fashion, it is a separate application, and the save data does not transfer over. So if you
And it's a
haven't
key
played
card,
11,
right?
and a key card physically too, yeah. So if you haven't played 11S yet, which you really should, that's going to be the definitive version to do it. If you have already played, or maybe you've started it and you want to continue your save file, just continue your save file on the Switch one because you won't transfer over. But hopefully, more people play. Dragon Quest 11 is just an incredible, incredible game. I'm a Monsters fan too. Dragon Quest Monsters. This is
Hmm.
the fourth mainline game in the series. Joker is like a spin-off series. And I really like Dark Prince. I know some people didn't like it as much. I liked it, and this is tied to Dragon Quest V, with two of the protagonists being younger. So it kind of reminds me how Dragon Quest Treasures was like a Dragon Quest 11 prequel with Eric and his sister. So I look forward to this. If you like Pokemon and you like that monster collecting itch, it's very different than Pokemon with some similarities. So definitely give it a shot. And Dragon Quest 12, I I stayed up late. I think it was like 1 or 2 in the morning by the time they originally released that 5 years ago, because they did that live broadcast, Japan time, and I was so hyped for 12. And it's been 5 years. And 12, the new 12, I should say, to me still looks incredible. It looks
Mhm.
like a lot of fun. I'll play it. I'm going to have a blast with it. It does look very Dragon Quest. It looks very safe. And Dragon Quest 12 was billed as, this is an evolution. This is darker. This is grittier. This is a more adult. I'm not
Mhm.
saying Dragon Quest games don't have adult content, because boy do they. And I'm not talking sexuality. I'm talking like adult themes and adult content that way. But yeah, like I kind of want to see what the Flames of Fate
Mhm.
uh, was like. I want to see what was the original Dragon Quest 12, and I hope they somehow release it in some capacity.
Mhm.
But I still think it looks incredible, and I'm very much looking forward to Dragon Quest 12 whenever it comes out. And then Dragon Quest Monsters got rated, like it has an ESRB rating, and as someone who does that for a living, I could tell you that means the game has to be pretty far along. So it wouldn't surprise me if Monsters comes out this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I I really don't I'm trying to think back if I can remember. I don't know if I've ever fully played through a Dragon Quest game. I know I've dabbled around and played some demos and things like that, but I don't know if I've really ever played a full Dragon Quest game. So while like this stuff's exciting, to have and everything, I don't know if it's like none of it was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to play these things." But I love that like they're coming out, and I think it's going to be really really exciting for a lot of people. Um and it is interesting that Dragon Quest 12 seems to have taken the exact same path almost that Metroid Prime 4 did.
Yep,
Um,
restarted.
they restarted altogether and then went in a safer direction. And I don't know if I mean, Metroid Prime 4 is fine, but it wasn't this like, "Oh my gosh," kind of experience for a lot of gamers, and I do fear a little bit that Dragon Quest 12 might end up being like that, because it looks like they're going a little safe. Now, we've seen about that much of the game so far, so it's really, really hard to judge it based on, like, what, 2, like, really, really short cutscenes and some images of of a few characters. So we don't know where it's really going. But if they do go in a safer route, rather than what you're saying, like what they originally were going for, I'm interested to see will it will it scratch that itch that a lot of Dragon Quest fans have.
I mean, I don't know if you saw the original Dragon Quest 12 logo, the Flames of Fate. Like it's
I think I did
very
back in the day, but I
different.
haven't seen it recently.
Yeah, like if you just watch like the original Dragon Quest 12 reveal trailer
Hmm.
and then compare it to the Dragon Quest 12 trailer that we got, like the difference is night and day. It's stark difference.
Hmm.
And it's one of those things where there's nothing wrong with playing it safe. There's really nothing. That's change too drastically and you alienate your fan base, which is not something they want to do with a series like Dragon Quest.
Sure.
And I think even playing it safe at this point, it's been a long time since 11. The gap between 11 and 12 has been so large that getting a brand new game is fine. Like whatever it is, fans are going to be happy.
Hmm.
They've spent the time obviously doing some remakes, and I hope they continue doing that because there's plenty of games still trapped on previous hardware. But yeah, and if you're interested in getting into Dragon Quest, and I know you don't have a lot of time, the best thing I could suggest you do is get the 1 and 2 HD remakes and the 3 HD remakes for sure. Because if you're one of those where you're like, oh, an RPG scares me because I got to grind, and I've got, especially these older
Yeah.
RPGs, you did.
Yeah.
So the remakes have something called Draki mode. If you, which is a level of difficulty, you can't die. You will get to 1 HP and you stay at 1 HP. They can't kill you. So you never have to worry about buying equipment. You never have to worry about grinding. You can literally just enjoy the experience at your leisure, play it, see the story. There's markers. It tells you where to go. It's like, oh yeah, you don't have to, figure it out. Here, we'll tell you. We'll make it a little more streamlined for you. There's still some cryptic stuff, but it's not nearly as bad. And there's always optional stuff, but it lowers the gate of entry so much that anybody can enjoy it. Especially if you, I only have 5-6 hours a week to play games.
Mm.
You can sit there and you could probably get through, the first game in a week and a half, and be
Mm.
like, okay, cool. Let me play the second game and get through that one in 2.5 weeks at that rate.
Yeah.
And then have a very relaxed experience, and that could get you, if you enjoy that, then you'll continue on in the series. So that's my suggestion, and they're doing that on
Okay.
purpose. It's one of the reasons 7 got remade, which is an excellent remake. It's a
Yeah.
reimagining. 7 was filled with bloat, and I know there's some of the cut content. It sucks that it's cut. I agree there. But I've tried 7 on PlayStation. I tried 7 on 3DS. I couldn't get through it either time. It just drugged out, and
Mm.
it didn't tell you where to go. And 7 was one of those games where you needed to find tablets. It's a very interesting premise, but you had to find tablets to unlock new areas. And if you didn't have a tablet, you couldn't unlock it, and it didn't tell you where to find it. The new one helps you out so you never get lost. You find the tablets you need. You continue on through the game. It doesn't have a Draki mode. You will die,
Yeah.
but it still made it streamlined and more digestible and a more enjoyable experience, in my
Okay.
opinion, and in a lot of others.
Hmm. That's good to know. That's funny that they do that. Looks like in the chat, Oki Reps, or sorry, Millennium Falcon's asking if there's supposed to be a Warhammer 40,000 movie starring Henry Cavill. I
I heard
think
something about that.
I did too, because Henry Cavill's a huge Warhammer fan. Um, I don't know if you've seen, but he's got like all the different, like the miniatures and the statues, and he's totally into Warhammer. So I did hear that I don't know if that was rumored or if that was actually was going to happen, but I've not heard anything since then. And then Jim says that she said, yeah, the Draki mode, I think is what she's talking about, is so handy. Was playing through Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD last year. It's very hard without that setting. So that's cool. Yeah, maybe I'll check it out. I didn't realize that was the thing. We also had an event just on May 28th, so right after all these other events, called the Thinky Direct, which was also a new showcase that I was not aware of until recently. We got a few games that were announced for Switch on there, including One Move Away, which dropped on May 28th for Switch 1 and 2. Bonfire Peaks is coming out on September 30th for Switch. Bulbo's Belief System is coming on Q3 of 2026 on the Switch, and a game called Colorbound, which is dropping sometime this year on the Switch. So of those games, I think I think I forgot a Monsters Expedition. There's actually several games. I don't know what happened with my notes, but Monsters Expedition that's seems to be dropping on August. Or sorry, that's already out. Sorry. Now I remember what happened. They also highlighted a whole bunch of games that were already out for Switch um, on this one and said, "Oh yeah, we've released these recently," and that's what some of these are on the screen. So Monsters Expedition is one of those because it's already been out. I think 2021, I think, is when it came out. So yeah, of those games that are have recently coming out, like One Move Away on May 28th, and then the rest of these are coming out soon this year on Switch. Any of those, like, just hearing about them probably now, Barry, I'm guessing the Thinky Direct wasn't on your radar, like mine. So, any of those sound interesting, look interesting at all?
Um, I this definitely seems like a puzzle direct, which I do enjoy puzzle games. And one, I don't know what it's about, but One Move Away, I'm guessing is one of those where you have to solve a puzzle with only one move, and uh, if that's the case, that could be very interesting. Oh
No,
no,
it's about moving.
it's literally moving. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, never mind. I was like, oh, that's a puzzle game. That sounds good now. Looking at it now, like that never mind.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, oh, cool. This would be a cool puzzle game. That sounds
yeah,
like, solve this in one move, and it's a
yeah.
tricky brain teaser. No,
Isn't
no,
there
none of these then.
that premise sounds familiar. Did we recently talk about a game that like has limited moves or something in a puzzle, or like everything can be solved in 5
I
moves or
feel like
less or
we did
something
a
like that?
game chat or something about a game like that years ago
Maybe.
on the Switch.
Yeah, I
To
can't
look.
remember. But yeah, you are right. All these are puzzle style games. They all make you games that make you think, which is why it's called the Thinky Direct. So if you're into thinking games and puzzle games, check out Thinky Direct. These I do wish that there was more of the games that were featured on Switch and Switch 2. I think there are some that came out in the past. I love that they did highlight some because I think Monsters Expedition was one of those that I was like, oh, this game looks really cool, and I don't think I realized it existed. And so yeah, those games like that are pretty cool. Lock Digital is kind of a number puzzle kind of game where it's kind of like Sudoku, but not really like it. So those kind of games are fun. So check them out if you're interested. And then also
Did you
on
skip one, or you're saving that for the end?
did I skip one for the oh, you mean the event. Yeah. I'm heading there right now. So also on May 28th, we had the Insider Gaming Showcase. And that didn't from what I can tell didn't show anything that was called out for Switch. I think they were all on Steam kind of games or games that are not laid out for actual consoles yet. But we also had the Indie Quest Indie RPG showcase that happened on May 28th. And Barry's going to walk us through all the details of that because there were a ton of games that were on there. And
Oh yeah.
I'm getting tired of reading through games. So Barry's going to take over.
And I'm looking through the game chats really quickly, and I think the game that we're thinking about is a game called Long Ago: A Puzzle Tale, which we reviewed back 4 years ago. It's number one on the list on the YouTube. It's 121 game chats ago.
We talked a lot about a lot of games.
Yes. All right. So moving on, we had the Indie Quest, which was a JRPG showcase put on by a really cool guy in Taylor Holt, and he does this. It's the second year he's done this, and it's really cool to just highlight a lot of indie JRPGs because there are a lot of them. So not all of these are confirmed for Switch. I'm just going to go through them quickly. Some of them are still like in Kickstarter or about to be in Kickstarter. So if there's a game here that's not on Switch and you're like, oh, I wish it was on Switch, you talked about it, I'm sorry, and and bug them, maybe they'll put it on Switch. We've seen it before. So I'm just gonna go through this really quickly. There's a lot of these games. So Steve's getting his break. He's gonna sit there and just drink, take a drink, and kick his feet up, and maybe smoke a cigar or something. Who knows what he's gonna do?
That'd be surprising.
That would be. All right. So it started off with a game called Full Circle. It's a JRPG inspired by the classics of the PS1 era, set in a world where humanity fled to the skies. Followed that up by another look at Infinite Alliance. This was announced last year. This is a ginormous crossover game with games like Crosscode, Cosmic Star Heroine, Seed of Nostalgia, 8-Bit Adventures 2, which we have a review of, Quartet, which we just put up a review, Shrine's Legacy, just the list goes on, Eternal Remnant. It's just a bunch of crossovers. This was done by the people who did 8-Bit Adventures 2, and it's free. This is being launched as a free game, which was fantastic. So Switch 1, Switch 2, definitely give them some love. There's even more games crossed over. I'm just not going through them all. Then we've got a game, Midgar Studios is covering their first game right now. It is called, they're not showing it, Hover the Game. Then we've got Stratagem Lost from Hybrid Fiction. It's an intense tactical combat game. We've got Emery Hearts is coming September 2nd for PC. There's a chance it goes to Switch because a lot of games start with PC and then move to Switch. Robot Rhapsody is you hack robots to join your party and fight against the looming singularity in this gorgeous turn-based adventure. You've got Alaria's Blessing from Hexa Nef Games. It's a few weeks left on the Kickstarter campaign, so there is a Kickstarter right now. It's like a tactical style, almost like Battle Network, Mega Man Battle Network style game. Let's see. Speaking of Battle Network game, there's another one. What is the name of this game? D-Beat Heroes. Some of these, the names aren't there. It's just the Twitter, so I do apologize. Crystal Project 2 was shown off. Crystal Project is on the Switch, so I don't see why the second one wouldn't be there. Diorama Break is in Kickstarter, or just ended Kickstarter. For Paper Mario fans, there's a game called Stories of Somnia that is coming out. Let's see. There's Save Seeker is a quest to overwrite save points. It's a turn-based RPG about a time-traveling girl who must save the world from her father. Then we've got Themocline, which is a horror RPG where you play the lone survivor stranded on a frigid corpse planet trying to survive. Codex Eternal Eclipse. It's a visually stunning turn-based RPG that tells a story about tragedy viewed through charming eyes. Then we've got Canvas City. It's a turn-based tactics RPG of rebellion on roller skates. So think like Jet Set Radio, but tactical RPG. We've got Anima Song from the Abyss, which is a stylized action game from two different distinct playable characters. That's coming next year. Then we've got Lul and the Liar of Two, which is a Kickstarter game, tactical RPG. We've got Godless Avion, a stellar pixel art RPG. There's so many of these games. I'm still going. Sorry, guys. We got The Great Elegy, Under the Cursed Wings, a self-published indie game. So we talk about these small developers. Here we go, self-published. We've got Colossus Eternal Blight, which is an action RPG. It kind of looks like Zelda. That's going to Kickstarter. We've got Nocturne, which is a rhythm RPG where every battle's like a game of Rock Band or Guitar Hero. We've got a game that is inspired by Xenogears called Lee of Helium. Let's see. We've got Bestiario, which is a turn-based RPG based on Spanish mythology and folklore. We've got Runesmith, a turn-based RPG where you play a dwarf hunting down a summoner who owes you money. Look, you can play Tom Nook the game. We've got Strandless Umbra, is a co-op RPG. We've got, what is this? Infinity Knights Cross, a 3-player co-op game featuring music from the Secret of Mana composer. And it's similar to Secret of Mana, which was a 3-player co-op action RPG. We've got, what is this? Coda Brava, which is a hand-drawn jailbreaking JRPG adventure where you play as a cool monkey. We've got One Phoenix Down, a pixel JRPG inspired by classics, set to release this September. There's Yami Kids, which is a GBA era JRPG. There's Sunny Trails, which is a cozy, cute JRPG coming out. There's Wicked Knight, Holy Knights, which is a tactical RPG coming out. There's so many of these. It's amazing how many JRPGs there are coming. My Familiar RPG, which is it's your job to clean up the streets of Wish City. It's a turn-based buddy cop RPG. So if you like the buddy cop style humor, then there's a game called Iron Wing Valiant Steam, which is Armored Core meets Valkyria Chronicles. There's Cardair Eternal Aces, which is a JRPG, but it's a card-based JRPG. Uh, Seed of Nostalgia, a game that I personally worked with when I was back at Premium to do the Kickstarter, which looks fantastic. It's got a new trailer coming out, and it's coming out soon. Just a pixel art JRPG that's phenomenal. Sacrifier, another pixel art style, turn-based and real-time RPG. And Gravistar, a stunning turn-based JRPG with a deep combat system set across a beautiful sci-fi world. Yes, that is a lot of games, and I didn't want to do anyone a disservice. So most of them should be, I would imagine, will be coming to Switch at some point or Switch 2. But if not, just a lot of indie love, and glad they put on this presentation to give some attention to these titles, because if you like RPGs like I do, there's something to love there.
Yeah. Yeah. As we've talked about several times through this podcast, I don't have time for uh a lot of RPGs anymore, and man, this is why. This is why, because I can't even just play one RPG. I like all of these different ones. How do you pick? They all look fantastic. If I was into them, they all kind of capture that. Honestly, the one that stands out that I'm gonna be checking out is this free one. Uh, that you're checking out. And like there's so many different characters from different franchises and stuff that's in there. So I'm definitely going to be looking into that one. I think the Gravatar, the very last one, also looks really cool as well. So I don't know if I'll be definitely getting it, but there's some that as I was going through, I found that, like, personally speaking, I don't gravitate to many that are just standard pixel art uh RPGs anymore. There's got to be something that does it, because I'm like, there's still plenty of classic RPGs that I can just go play. If I want a pixel art game, I'll go play Dragon Quest, for instance. But I love that 2D HD thing is so cool, that grabs me every time. It's like I've gotten some games that I've not played yet, like Octopath Traveler. I haven't played a whole lot of, but I got it because it looks so great. So
Oh,
sometimes
it's so
the
good.
art style is enough to pull me in. But yeah, I'll definitely be looking through these a little bit more. But the two that definitely stand out actually was the very first one you talked about and the very last one that I'll be looking into.
Yeah, there's so many in this, and like I said, I've worked with some of these. I worked personally with Seed Nostalgia. Some of them, like One Phoenix Down. I know the developer. I've talked with them. The developer behind Infinite Alliance, who also did 8-Bit Adventures 2. Friends with him. What a wonderful guy! And the fact that they're doing this game for free is incredible. And the fact that so many other games are getting involved with this, including, I guess, a Quartet, which again I know the developer. They're really, really, really nice, and we just posted a game chat. So plug there. Go check out the game chat. Um, if you like JRPGs, the Switch just has a lot of them, and so many people grew up with them like we did, and they will. I always wanted to make my own. I got RPG Maker on the PlayStation
Mhm.
1 with the intention to make my own RPG, and I realized very quickly how hard that is. And even when I learned HTML, I actually started work on a text adventure just because I can't do the
Mm,
graphics, but I could at least do the story. And even that was incredibly challenging, and I never wound up finishing it. So to see these devs do this and come to fruition and come with these
yeah,
in-depth stories, my hat's off to them, because that is incredible and I love it, and I want to support every one of them. So if there's even one game there that interests you, or say, well, that sounds pretty cool, give it a try, because you're helping a very small team.
yeah, yeah. So cool. Yeah, I'm amazed by people that write books. And then I think about the hours and hours and hours that go into just a novel. Like, my wife's written a novel, but then, like, the more hours and hours and hours that go into like an RPG, because not only do you have to think about the story, but you have to think about how it intertwines with all these other things and what kind of things you're going to do along the way. And like all this comes from people's heads, and then somehow they put it on the screen and it makes it interactive. And I'm blown away every time because it's so far beyond what I can comprehend doing. So yeah, my hat's off to every one of these people. I apologize that I can't enjoy every one of your games. I wish that I had plenty of time to sink into every RPG out there because I'm sure they're great. But yeah, as we talked about, not enough time. Just yesterday, we've got an East Asia Soft showcase. They showed off several more games and a lot of them coming to Switch. So for this one, I'm going to play it on there. This is another one. It was fast moving as well. So we've got it on the screen for the video version. But we got Hakuoki Memoirs, Drifting Clouds, that's dropping sometime early 2027 on Switch. Incantation is available now on the Switch. Soldner X2 Final Prototype Definitive Edition is available now on Nintendo Switch. Atomic Owl, also now available on Nintendo Switch. And then Super Woden Rally Edge is coming this summer for Nintendo Switch. Shockwave Triggers is coming this summer to Nintendo Switch. Secret Paws Cozy Apartments is dropping on June 10th on the Switch. Grand Vegas Casino is on June 17th on the Switch. Rat Protocol is dropping on June 24th on the Switch. Clarity, The Seven Demons of Vanguardia is dropping on July 1st on Switch. Blast and Bounty is dropping sometime in 2026. And then The Fisher is summer of 2026 on Switch. Wake Up Leah is also coming in the summer of 2026 for Switch. Hot Stakes Casino Slot Machines is coming in 2026 on what they just say consoles. They didn't say Switch was included in there or not. And then Mate Morphosis is coming on in 2026 on the Switch. Samurai Zan or Zan 2026 also on consoles. Didn't declare which consoles. Hector's Quest Vermilia's Castle is coming sometime 2026 on Switch. And finally, Dancing Divas 2026 on the Switch. So what stood out to you from this East Asia Soft showcase, Barry?
I was really disappointed that your favorite type of games didn't appear in this one. I'm
Right?
gonna.
I
It
was
was-
really I was so excited to watch this direct. I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's lots of variety in this one, not just a bunch of, the same thing over and over and over again."
Yeah, no, this was a good one. So, couple things. Starting Hakuoki Memoirs. It's not a game for me, but my wife does like that series, so she'll probably wind up getting to it eventually. Incantation and stuff like horror doesn't do it for me. But Soldier X2 Final Prototype Definitive Edition, played, and we have a game chat. It's will be posted here in a couple days. It's Tristan and I did it, so you'll have to stay tuned for that one. But I've already played that one. Atomic Owl, I know the developer personally. I helped with that Kickstarter, and looks great. I have not played it yet. I've not gotten my code, but it is available now. So give him some love, please. Super Modern Rally Edge looks like a lot of fun. Like, I didn't really play the other Super Modern games. I have them, but they do look cool. But Rally Edge also looks good too. So I might have to give that one a shot. Some of the other ones that came about. Hector's Quest for Millions Castle looks kind of interesting. And there was another shmup. I think it was Shockwave Triggers. Looks
Shockwave
kind of
triggers, yeah.
fun. Yeah, that one looks kind of fun. There's a couple casino games. I was shocked to see 2 casino games.
Yeah.
Samurai Zan also looked kind of interesting to me.
Hmm.
I think those are like my highlights.
Nice. Yeah, I think I forgot about Atomic Owl because I think we've talked about it before, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to look more into that game. So that was a good reminder. Oh yeah, look get into that game. And then Soldner X, yeah, I'm excited to watch you guys' game chat for that, and get that posted this week as well. But yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys think about that, and enjoyed the first one. Um, but yeah, I think overall, like I was more excited to just see a lot of different styles of games in this showcase, more than like nothing was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get that day one, sort of thing. But it was cool to see a lot more variety in this one, because I think in a lot of other East Asia showcases we've seen a lot of the same styles of games, whether it be um games that, are like a bunch of dating sims over and over and over again, or a bunch of shmups that kind of just look like recycled. And there's sometimes that are like that, and then there's other times that are, you know, a little more risque kind of games that I feel like happens over and over again. And yeah, so it was cool to see some different styles of games. I did just find it funny because they kept just talking about consoles over and over, but on the screen it would show the console names. I was like, just put them in there. It helps people out like me who's trying to make this list while listening. I don't have to look at the screen every time.
I think the announcer was like, "Do I really have to say PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, like for every game?" It's like, no,
Yes.
just doing consoles.
Yes. Because
Clapper looks pretty
sometimes
good
it
too,
said
actually.
consoles and they didn't have anything on the screen. And so that's what, like, Hot Stakes Casino, slot machines, and Samurai Zon didn't have any logos on the screen at all. So I don't know if they're coming to Switch or Switch 2 or not. I don't know. So it does help. So yeah. But yeah, I think yeah, be sure to head over to eastasiasoft.com for more details on that one. And then kind of wrapping up or getting close to wrapping up, June 1st, we also got Mix Summer Game Showcase. And in that one, we got a handful of Switch games. We got Sonzai Beat 'em Up Adventure, is a beat 'em up adventure. It's coming out sometime on the Switch. Well Dweller is an action adventure game. It's coming out sometime this year on 2026 for the Switch. A game called Lucid, which is an action adventure game coming out Q3 of 2026 for the Switch. Ground Zero Hero is an action game coming out on Switch sometime in the future. Lifted is a puzzle action adventure coming out sometime Q3 of 2026 on Switch 2. Tenebris Sonmia. Yeah, Somnia. It's getting long. I can't even read the word Somnia. This is a survival horror game that's coming out 2026 on Switch 2. Beyond the Dark Night Watch is another survival horror game that's coming out 2026 sometime this year on Switch 2. And then a game, I don't know how to pronounce this at all. Unme is what I'm going to say it. Yet another survival game, horror game on Switch 2 that's coming out sometime in the future. So I'm guessing, Barry, that these survival, horror survival games are probably not up your alley. But anything else stand out from this one?
No, I'm again. This is what I was talking about with the genres, where there's all these different genre themes, and based on each of these showcases. And horror games aren't my cup of tea. I don't play them, so I don't really watch showcases based on them. But I know there's a ton of people that love it, and that's perfect. And yeah, look, this Ground Zero Hero looks just like a Vampire Survivors again,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like something like that. I'll definitely would play, but it's not like, oh, I need to rush out and get that. Like, there's still some stuff with Vampire Survivors I haven't gone back and done because
Mm-hmm.
it takes time, and I just don't have the time to go do that. And if I'm gonna spend the time on a Survivors game, I'll probably will do Vampire Survivors.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. That none of them stood out to me too. Like, and I didn't realize until starting to get into it. It was like, oh yeah, these are all to some degree some sort of like horror survival kind of game. And that's not really for me either. We also had a game event called today. So we had two today on June 2nd. One was Black Voices in Gaming. They showed off Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch. that dropped on April 20th for the Switch, so it's already out. And then they also highlighted Go North, which again we've highlighted in other showcases as well. I believe this is the game that was developed by one
Yeah.
guy, and so that's pretty cool. So yeah, not a whole lot to talk about here, but either of those games stand out to you, Barry?
Yeah. Well, in between, I might play Jane Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch. I love the View Askew movies. I mean, being from Jersey, I have to. It's like in our DNA. But yeah, I know it's one of those where I didn't play the first one. I have it. I have Chronic Blunt Punch on my Switch already too.
Hmm.
I just haven't got around to playing it yet. But it just looks like a lot of fun, like old school Simpsons, style beat 'em up, like Simpsons arcade beat 'em up, but
Mm,
just with this typical View Askew humor.
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. Go North. I already talked about. That's probably gonna be the one that I spend more time with. And then
You're
finally
not a
we
Jay and Silent
had
Bob fan?
I've actually never seen the movies. So
Wait, you never even saw like Clerks?
no. No. I've
Oh
seen
my
clips,
God.
but I've never
You have
actually
a new
like watched all the way
you
through.
have a
Yeah.
new homework assignment. You need to at least watch Clerks. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I probably should. And then finally, we had just a couple hours ago, Sony had their state of play, and we got a few games. I wasn't able to watch all of it, so I wrote down the ones that I know that were on Switch, one and or two. So this might be one that I've skipped some, and Jim's already being surprised that I haven't seen it as well. Sorry.
Yeah, how did you
Uh,
not? Clerks is so good. It's
I didn't miss
classic.
Clerks. I was too busy playing with my Ninja Turtles when I was little. I don't know. I somehow missed Clerks over the years. I know it exists, and I just things happen. So from Sony State of Play, the ones that I know happen. And Barry, did you get to watch all of State of Play?
Yeah, this one I watched the entire thing.
Okay, so if I lost or forget any, let me know. Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered is coming to Switch 1 and 2 on October 1st. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis is dropping on Switch 2 same day as all the other consoles on February 12th, 2027, and this is a remake of the original game, like completely remade the original game. And then No Rest for the Wicked is coming out at some time in the future for Switch 2. It's just an upcoming game. They didn't release any sort of window or anything. And then Rayman Legends Retold is dropping on Switch 2 on October 1st of this year. So, what'd you think of these announcements that are coming out to Nintendo Switch in the middle of a Sony showcase?
Oh, we see that a lot. Nintendo Directs have games that are also coming to other platforms. So a little info about Rayman has come out. First off, it's a key card, and the PlayStation 5 physical is a key disc. So there is
Ah.
no physical of this game. Literally, the disc is the exact same thing as the game key card. You put the disc in, it downloads, which is dumb. Dumb. Both of them are dumb. But this is the future of modern gaming, folks, and Ubisoft is just jumping right in. But apparently, it was already in development before the Switch 2 was even announced. But the team felt Rayman couldn't skip a Nintendo system. It will have 1080p output on handheld and 4K when docked. They're aiming for 60 frames per second, and the amount of detail in the PS5 version is approximately the same as the Switch 2 version, which is very good to see them, support and do all that. But yeah, that's a big one, which is funny because Rayman Legends is already on the Switch 1, but this also gives you Rayman Origins as a free bonus. So the remade Origins and Legends, you get both games together. That is a big one. My wife's very interested in Tomb Raider. I think it looks good.
Mhm.
Dynasty Warriors. I played the Nintendo versions of the Warriors, but I'm glad to see it. But from what I've like even seen the discourse online talking about, how standards and stuff, a lot of people like are posting like I went into this with zero expectations and I still wound up being disappointed.
Mm.
Um, and it just shows like people just they can't be pleased. Like there's no kind of making them happy. Actually, a friend of the channel, Zev Zero, from Serenity Forge, literally just sent me a message about one of the games
Hmm.
that was shown off, saying you have to play the Onimusha demo, and the new Onimusha game was shown off there. I don't know if that will hit Switch too. I can't. I could see it coming at least down the road. Capcom has been very big in the Switch too with Resident Evil and Monster Hunter and all that stuff. I can see it coming to Switch 2 maybe later on, but apparently the demo is really good. They did show off a new Wolverine trailer, which
Oh.
looks really cool. I'm excited about that. And they ended with a brand new God of War spinoff
Hmm.
with his wife in the afterworld, trying to get back to him,
Hmm.
which I thought is a really interesting concept. And it's Deborah Ann Wool, Karen Page herself,
Oh.
as his wife. So that's really cool to see. Like, oh, I
Hmm.
know that. And the companion is this giant cube, like this gelatinous cube, and it's voiced by Jack Quaid. So I'm just picturing Karen Page and Huey from The Boys on an
Okay.
adventure, and it's pretty funny just thinking of that.
Hmm. Sounds
But
interesting.
yeah, I think it looks good. I don't know if it's a spin-off. I know it's a female led. I don't care. It looks good. I'm gonna play it. I'm comfortable with my sexuality. But yeah, I think, like, for me, like, I was overall pretty disappointed myself. Like,
Hmm.
I was expecting, what are they gonna come? There was another game that showed up that looked good. Stuntman is back, Stuntman Hollywood, and
Oh.
unfortunately, it's not coming to Switch 2. And the trailer shows like Hit from Knight Rider and the DeLorean from Back to the Future, and like Universal's actually a part of it. So like all the
Hmm.
Universal properties are there, and I'm like, man, this would do gangbusters on Switch 2. Bring it there. But no,
Especially with
it's not.
Universal
Not at
and they
least
have a
not at
theme
the
park
moment.
there, seems like you should be able to work something out.
I know. Like, come on. I hope. And it could be one of those cases where Nintendo says we want the Switch reveal to be in our direct and not afterwards. So like it could be like, the say if the direct happens in 2 days and then suddenly there's a trailer for it and it's like, really, you couldn't have had this announcement 2 days ago, and
Right.
like it wouldn't ruined anything. It's just more publicity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think of those games that are coming to Switch 2 specifically, Tomb Raider and Rayman Legends are the ones that stand out to for sure. Especially Tomb Raider. Like I only played a little bit of the original one because I didn't have a PlayStation at the time. And so I think I only played like demos or something in stores or something. I think is all I played. Or a friend had it, I think, one time. So but I like the style of the new games especially, and it's really cool to see that they're revisiting it completely. So that's probably the one that's standing out to me. I played some Dynasty Wars Warriors games, and that's cool that like they're doing all that stuff and everything. But yeah, probably won't be getting it. But I dabble in Dynasty Warriors every once in a while. So so many games, Barry, and so many more on our next
So
episode.
many.
We're gonna have to make sure that we don't go 3 hours in our next episode. Uh, but thanks everybody for being here. We're looking at our next episode, speaking of which, is going to be on June 16th. So just a couple weeks from now. So be sure to join us live if you can. We record every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. And again, June 16th. If you're listening to this before then, be sure to join us. Prior to that, there are some games coming out, but to be honest, Barry, I'm going to scroll some on the screen, compliments of the list that Metacritic has for us, but nothing really stood out to me that's coming out over the next couple weeks. We've got, looking forward to eventually Star Fox is coming out and stuff like that, but nothing really stood
River
out to me
City
as
Saga? You're not a River
oh,
City fan?
I forgot about that game. So I'm not necessarily, but I did forget that River City is a thing. Um, but yeah, like I a lot of times I'm looking through this list and I'm able to grab like names. I'm like, oh, I'm not into this game, but I know Barry is, and I know other people are. And eFootball Kickoff, I think, was like the only one that kind of was like, oh yeah, some people play that game, eFootball. That's June 4th, but
Isn't that
yeah,
the Konami football? Yeah.
yeah. So it's like Not really sure about anything else that really like stands out. So maybe this is one of those times that we can jump back in the ever increasing backlog and play some games. So Barry, what are you going to be playing over the next couple weeks?
This is exactly why I went to Octopath, because I said the next big one I'm looking forward to is the Adventures of Elliot. So Octopath Traveler 0 is what I'm going to be playing, and depending on when I finish it, if I finish it and I don't have time before Adventures of Elliot, then I'll just go right to Adventures of Elliot. If I do have time, then I'll figure something else out. I also have work games. Right now we don't have any game chats. It's a kind of a lull, which I'm kind of at least breathing a sigh of relief, because I just did a lot of review games in a row, so it's kind of nice to not have that. But I do have work
Hmm.
games. I've got multiple games working on the ESRBs, so I'll be playing those that I can't talk about just yet, but one of these days I will be able to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be hopping back to some. I've got a couple games that have recently come in that I'll be maybe doing some solo reviews. I can't remember what they are, but some that I've overlooked because we've been doing a lot of game chat games and I've been editing a whole lot, and I'm looking forward to not having 20 videos to edit. Honestly. I also got a game. I don't know if you know this game, Barry, but I was sent it kind of out of the blue. A physical, a gaming company actually sent me a physical copy of a game called Nine Souls. Um,
I do know about it,
you
yeah.
do know that game? So yeah, so I'll
I've
be
heard good things.
checking that out. It looks like something I would enjoy. Like, it really does. So I'm looking forward to checking that out really soon as well. And if you collect physical games or like physical games, hey, here's one that came out for Switch that is physical. And yeah, huge thank you to the publishers for sending me a physical copy out of the blue, because that does not happen anymore. We pretty much only get codes, especially kind of out of the blue. Like, that was surprising. So I opened it the other day and was like, "What is this? Oh my gosh, that's cool!" So yeah, so I'll be playing that one eventually. But yeah, I think I want to get into the demo for Adventures of Elliot. I definitely want to check that out, especially compare it to the previous demo that I tried out because I know they've definitely done a lot of work on the game. I mean, it's ready to release now, so they've done a ton of game on work on the game, and so I'm interested in to see how it's changed because I haven't watched any like trailers or anything. I've stayed away from it on purpose, to experience it when I play the demo, and so looking forward to that as well. Anything going on in the chat room before we wrap up?
Yep.
Looks like Jim said she's only played the original Tomb Raider once on someone else's PS1. That's kind of like me. Like, I've only played a little bit of it once, I think, on someone else's PS1, or maybe even I don't even know. It might have been on PlayStation Portable, like if they like PSP, if they like ported it over or something. I don't even know if it was on original PS1 that I played it. Um, she said she's playing Indy and Mina. Mina's great. Um, and also she's loving Indy. A big fan of the movies. An extension of that universe. So that's really cool. That game has not come out on Switch 2 yet, right? Did it get delayed? Am I thinking of the right
Which
game?
one?
The
Indie?
new indie game? Yeah.
No, it's out already.
It
It's
is
out.
out. Okay.
Yep.
I think I'm thinking of another one that was supposed to come out, and the Switch 2 version got delayed. I'm blanking on what that is right now. So good content. Steve's forgetting things. But anyway, um, yeah, she said, yeah, it's on Switch 2. So I'm definitely thinking of a different game, but can't remember what it is. So anyway, we have gone so long on this episode because there's so many games to talk about, and there's gonna be more on the next episode. So I'll be coming back next time from Summer Game Fest play days. So that'd be fun to talk about what the things I see in person as well. Be sure to stay tuned to our social media because I'll be posting some stuff there, specifically our Twitter or X, if you call it that. I'll be posting stuff and on our Discord as well as I'm there and be talking about it as I come back on the next episode. Again, that next episode is going to be on June 16th. So hopefully you guys join us then. Barry, any closing thoughts on this incredibly long episode already?
Uh, yeah, I mean it's there's so much going on. There's so many gear games, and just trying to navigate through life while doing so. I do have a small funny story, or kind of thankfully it turned out to be a funny story. It could have been a very bad story. Um, the other last week, actually, we recorded our type, and I was actually telling this to Steve that last Sunday I had some pain. It felt like I had some pain in my chest, and I was like, "Oh my God, am I having a heart attack?" And I was like, "Oh, this is bad. Like, what's gonna happen?" And I was scared, naturally, and I kind of just eased up, and the pain would come and go, and I was like, "I'm gonna wait. I don't want to wait. I'm feeling like it's okay." But the next day I was a little iffy, and I had some gas, and maybe it was a little constipation. And my wife's like, "Oh, it's probably just gas." And I'm like, "I don't know. It's just, I still feel a little pain." And like the next night I laid on my left side and I saw stars, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like I'm feeling my heart beat, and it's like rocking me and shaking me, and now it's on my head, and I'm like, "I'm gonna die tonight." Like I was really scared. So I'm going to the doctor. Like I don't want to wait with my heart. Went to the doctor, had an EKG, perfectly fine. They listened to it, perfectly fine. And they're watching me, and I'm rubbing. And one of the nurses said to my wife, she's like, it could be a muscle. So I was like, "What, really?" Yeah, really. So I went and got an X-ray. I want to make sure, and I made an appointment to go to a cardiologist literally the next day. But when I came home, I put on a heating pad on my shoulder, my arm, and after a short little bit, I'm like, it's starting to feel a little better. And I kept the heating pad on for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I'm like, I'm feeling a lot better. And I went to the cardiologist, and I was like, I'm feeling pretty good. And they said, I looked at the X-ray, you're clean. I looked at the heart, you're clean. The EKG, you're clean. Your cholesterol is high. Congratulations, you're an American. So if that's what the blood draw is for that I mentioned earlier, just to
Mm-hmm.
double check my cholesterol and find out the best plan for me. So, but your heart is fine. You're absolutely fine. It's a muscle. It sounds exactly like a muscle wall. And using the heat fixed it, and I was fine. And I'm not dying. So I was like, thankfully it turned into a funny story, because if you watch, and here's a funny thing, go watch that R-Type Dimension 3 review that we did. The entire time we were talking about the game, I'm thinking in my head, I am dying. There's behind the scenes. I'm like, I am dying. This might be the last time anyone ever sees my face.
Oh,
And I'm going out reviewing R-Type Dimensions 3 because I didn't know. I
yeah.
didn't know what was going on. I was in pain. So
Wow.
it's like kind of like a little wince in my face or whatever you might be able to see. But that was going through my head as I'm reviewing it.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, I'm fine and I'm good, and it wasn't gas. Right? It was just I pulled a muscle. We think lifting one of my dogs, because she's very very chunky and heavy, up on the couch, and I just didn't realize it, and I was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
what is that?" So yeah, the moral of the story is, if you feel something, go get checked out. The peace of mind is worth the copay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Or maybe just put a heating pad on it and see what happens.
and you know what, you never know. Look, I'm 43 now. You're getting older. Doing little things can change your
Yeah.
entire day. You can
Yeah.
pull muscles doing anything. So it's one of those where
Very true.
always always make sure. But it turned into a funny story, and it ties back to the R-Type Dimensions race. So plug to
Yeah.
that review.
That's
You go
awesome.
watch it without that knowledge, and then, if you already watched it, watch it again with that knowledge, and be
Yeah.
like, in my head, I'm like, this is it. When we sign off, no one will ever see me again.
That's hilarious. I didn't realize you were thinking that because I knew you were going through that, but I didn't realize it was that bad and it affected you that way. I assumed it
because
was probably from picking up your kid instead, but no.
no, I think we think it was the
With-
dog that did it because
Yeah.
she's chunky and you know what? It doesn't matter how much, just moving,
Mhm.
twisting. You know, I
Totally.
throw my back out shoveling snow, and it wasn't
Oh,
even heavy snow.
there's this spot in my back that I have tweaked several times. I think the very first time was from washing my back in the shower.
Yeah,
And
I've
then
done that.
I've also done it from sneezing. And
Yup,
like getting old sucks.
it really does. It really does. But yeah, it was just because, if it was anywhere else, I've had muscle pain before naturally. I mean, but
Mhm.
the fact that it was right there at the heart, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, my dad has heart issues. So I'm like, oh my God, is it like,
Yeah.
is it something happening to me? I want to be around for a long period of time. And it was funny because I'm thinking like, I'm gonna miss my child growing up. I'm gonna miss all the cool games that come out. Oh my God, I'm not gonna get to see Doomsday and Secret Wars after all this time. What the hell? You know, like these are the things that
You
go
know,
through the important things.
it's real. It's real, honestly.
It's real. The important things that go through your head.
That's
But
right.
it's just
I'm
it was
glad your
it's
son
just
was the first thing, but
absolutely, of course. But it's just one of those things where it's like, thankfully,
yeah.
everything's okay. But as you get older, you just don't. Oh, it'll feel better. Know your body, play it safe. And
Mhm.
honestly, I even said to you before we recorded, like, I don't think it's a heart attack because I probably would be dead by now. Like,
Right.
here it is a day later.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would have, fallen. But it was really that night, like, where I rolled over. Now I understand because my shoulder was sore, and like
Mhm.
the part of my body was sore. And when I rolled over, I put pressure on it, and it was
Yeah.
just like I saw stars, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, I'm in so much pain right now, and naturally my
Wow.
muscle was pulled, and I never relaxed. So for days I didn't put heat on it, so the muscle never had a chance to really
Sure.
relax. So it was inflamed and something. Now it's
Wow.
okay. It's still a little sore. It's not 100%, but I've been using heat, and that's helped me a lot.
Good. Good.
But fun
Well,
little story for the end of this.
here's what I'm gonna say. If you're listening to this story and you're starting to feel bad for us in any way, because of us getting old and having to go to the doctor and things like that, and you're like, I wish I could help these guys out. We are very, very close to finally launching our Patreon, and you can do that. So, so if you stuck around this long, we consider you're probably the core community of Nintendo Fuse, and so know that that's very, very close to being launched. Our goal is this summer that we would launch that, so we are very, very close. We may be able to get it out at the very beginning of this summer, so that'd be exciting. But we've got things lined up. However, we're still looking for your feedback because, again, we want to make sure that this is what you guys want. So be sure to email us, podcast at nintendofuse.com, contact us on social media, our Discord, however you want to do it. But let us know what you would like to see on our Patreon, and we'll be sure to potentially incorporate that into how we build these membership tiers because they're really for you guys anyway. But yeah, I know that's on the way. And, if you feel bad for us and getting old and having to go to the doctor and, all that stuff, maybe that's a way that you can support us in that way. But thank you guys so much for joining us, especially shout out to everybody who joined us in the live chat. We got Smash JC, we got Oki Reps and Roth and Millennium Falcon and probably others that I'm missing. And I apologize if that was the case, but thank you all for joining in the conversation. We love having you guys here. As far as we know, Greg should be back on the next episode as well as we talk all Summer Game Fest and so much more. Maybe even a Nintendo Direct. Who knows? But again, thanks so much for being here. Be sure to like, subscribe, share it, all those different things, and we will catch you next time. Happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.